Chapter 1607. Lin Gu grew up in the Caribbean. That place was not as vast as the Pacific Ocean, but the pirates there were not necessarily weaker than the Pacific Ocean. From ancient times to the present, the pirate gangs in the Caribbean added up to at least 8,000 if not 10,000. Those who could survive were all captains with certain strength, otherwise, they would have been completely wiped out by the world government. Because the pirates in the Caribbean were cunning enough and insidious enough, they were not completely wiped out by the world government. Although the pirates in the Caribbean were more well-behaved now, that was in front of escorted ships. No one dared to touch the merchant ships of Hua Xia. No one wanted to die. But in the face of some other ships, they would still make a move. And the few pirate leaders who could still survive in the Caribbean were all people who found new ways to survive. First, they did not touch ships that should not be touched. If anyone did not listen to orders and look for trouble, they would be executed or exiled. Anyway, they would not continue to let troublemakers stay in the gang. Second, they began to learn how to deal with smuggled ships and armed ships so that no one would find trouble with them. Of course, the people who can do the second must be strong. If they did not have a certain strength, they would provoke these things. Even if the world government did not come forward, there would be people who would come to eat them. Over the years, the number of pirate gangs in the Caribbean has been decreasing. In addition to the suppression of the world government, a large part of the reason was because of this. As a result, many pirate gangs that were not strong enough to provoke people they could not afford to provoke, and then they were swallowed up. Before Lin Gu left the Caribbean, he knew a few powerful pirate gangs. Among these people, the most powerful one should be the white-haired captain. The name White Hair came from his white hair. It was said that his hair turned white overnight. As for what happened, no one knew. White Hair did not have a left arm. It was said that he was attacked by a cruel sea beast while saving one of his sons. Yes, the people on his ship were all his sons. Everyone called him White-Haired Father. He was not old, but even people who were not younger than him would respectfully call him White-Haired Father. This was because he had basically given the people under him a second life. Therefore, these people respected him from the bottom of their hearts. The white-haired old man was also one of the few righteous pirates that Lin Gu had met. At least, Lin Gu thought so. The white-haired old man had never hijacked a legitimate merchant ship, nor had he ever harmed the lives of legitimate businessmen or tourists. Every time he attacked, he robbed illegal smuggling ships or ships that dealt in drugs, arms, or even counterfeit money. Relying on these, the white-haired old man's pirate group had never declined in the Caribbean. When Lin Gu left the Caribbean, the white-haired old man was still the flag of the Caribbean. The reason why Lin Gu was familiar with pirates was that he had lived on Old Man Whitehair's ship for a period of time. At that time, he wanted to destroy Old Man Whitehair's pirate group, but he didn't have the strength to do so. However, after being captured by Old Man Whitehair, Lin Gu suddenly realized that Old Man Whitehair's people were different from other pirates. Then he slowly fell in love with these people. He also followed these pirates to do what pirates did and hijacked those ships. After a few experiences, Lin Gu knew that Old Man Whitehair only hijacked ships that did illegal things or robbed the ships of the same trade. It was also at that time that Lin Gu saw the sinister and cunning guys in other pirate groups. Some pirates always like to stuff a handful of fine sand in their pockets. This kind of fine sand often played a fatal role when facing the enemy. At a critical moment, even the eyes of a powerful expert would be hurt by the fine sand. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the sinister often took the initiative. At that time, Lin Gu suffered this loss, so he was very clear about this little trick of pirates. The moment he stepped forward, he saw Bitley's hand without a knife in his pocket. He knew what the other party was going to do. Just as Bitley threw out a handful of fine sand, ready to take advantage of Lin Ji's pain with his eyes closed to kill him, Lin Gu suddenly rose into the air. Bitley threw out a handful of fine sand, but it was blown back by a gust of wind from Lin Ji's legs. Ah! Bitley's eyes entered the fine sand he raised and instantly became bloodshot. He was in so much pain that he couldn't stop crying. How could he still care about raising his knife to chop people? He covered his face and ran back. Lin Gu wouldn't give him the chance. He stepped forward and grabbed the back of Bitley's neck, pulled him back, and used a rope under his feet. Bitley fell heavily to the ground. After all, Bitley was the vice-captain of a pirate group. He was also a man who had experienced hundreds of battles. Facing this disadvantage, he didn't panic. He rolled back to avoid his opponent and continued to try to escape. Both of his eyes were sealed. There was no way to fight. This was really a case of trying to steal a chicken only to end up losing the rice used to lure it. If he was facing a small character, he might have a chance to escape. But Lin Gu didn't give him a chance at all. He stepped forward and blocked Bitley's escape route. Bitley gritted his teeth and narrowed his eyes, cursing, "Despicable? I'm despicable?" Lin Gu laughed. "If you weren't despicable, you wouldn't have ended up like this. What, you didn't succeed in playing shamelessly, so you don't want to continue playing? This is too boring. Give me some strength. Be more passionate. Don't be so boring. I just started warming up. My eyes." Bitley now needed fresh water to rinse. Seeing his vice-captain suffer the consequences of his own actions, Captain Kamei had nothing to say, but he couldn't just watch his own people being humiliated. With a glance, several people behind him quickly surrounded Lin Gu and Bitley. Lin Gu didn't dare to be careless, so he didn't act rashly. He watched as Bitley retreated with a dejected face. Lin Gu looked at the 4 people around him vigilantly. Who knew if they still had any despicable tricks up their sleeves? "Captain Kamei, I didn't expect you to be so considerate of your subordinates. Isn't it just a little sand in your eyes? What's the big deal?" "Su Yun, if I were you, I would really look down on such a vice-captain. He's too delicate. Can a person who can't even tolerate a little sand in his eyes become something great?" Captain Kamei didn't understand what Su Yun meant. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he looked at Su Yun blankly. "For example, your inferior pirate group is sand in the eyes of the Sharks and Beluga whale clan. People who can achieve great things will tolerate a small sand like you." Su Yun smiled. "I don't know the difference in strength between you two, but from today's performance, I can see that your Sea Monster Legion will never be able to catch up with them in this lifetime. It's also impossible for you to dominate the Pacific Ocean. This is just a dream, wake up." "Are you trying to anger me?" Although Captain Kamei hated these words, he still remained calm. "Then you're wrong. I'm not so easily angered. You know whether you're angry or not." Su Yun disdainfully said, "I don't have time to waste with you. I can tell you very clearly that you're not qualified to be my opponent. I'm too lazy to fight you. Get lost." Captain Kamei wasn't so magnanimous. After Su Yun finished speaking, his anger completely exploded. There were only 2 people on the other side. How dare they look down on him like this? "Everyone, listen to my orders. Who will take the heads of these 2 people? Who will be promoted to first mate?" Captain Kamei ordered, and the 100 people behind him swarmed towards Su Yun. There was no lack of masters among them, but unfortunately, masters of this level were nothing in front of Su Yun. It looked like a fierce battle, but the result was one-sided without any suspense. Chapter 1608. A mediocre gang was a mediocre gang indeed. Although Captain Kamei's strength was not to be underestimated, he could not even take on Lin Gu alone. Lin Gu had defeated Captain Kamei's first mate, and second mate, leaving Captain Kamei to face Su Yun alone. This was really giving him face. "Captain, speaking of which, there are many paths to take in this world. It's up to you to choose." Su Yun smiled. "You don't have the ability to be a pirate, so you shouldn't try to be brave. You can't even handle 2 passers-by like us. What do you have to fight with Headmaster Gu? Don't blame him for looking down on you. You're really not worthy of his attention. With your level, I don't even care about you. Don't think about competing with the Sharks and Beluga whale clan. That's not a good thing. Prepare to retire after today." Captain Kamei's expression changed. "What do you think you can do? Fine, let's see who's stronger today." Su Yun also sneered, "Captain Carmel, if you lose, all your belongings will be mine." Take this money as a thank you gift to Principal Gu when I return. Ha ha. As the laughter rang out, Su Yun made his move. The wind from his fist whistled towards Captain Kamei's face. If Captain Kamei had not been prepared, this punch would have been enough to break his nose. After seeing Su Yun's strength, Captain Kamei did not dare to underestimate Su Yun anymore. While dodging Su Yun's punch, he sinisterly hooked his foot. It should be known that there was a sharp dagger hidden in the tip of his shoe. Just this one move was enough to make his opponent unable to take it. Su Yun sidestepped the sneak attack and followed up with a kick, hooking Captain Kamei's ankle. Without waiting for him to react, Su Yun quickly broke the dagger on the tip of his foot. Captain Kamei lost his balance and fell heavily to the ground. What Su Yun had destroyed were the weapons that he relied on to survive. Without these tools, his combat power would be reduced by more than half. As the captain of a ship, you use such despicable methods? Su Yun played with the broken dagger in his hand. How many people have you secretly hurt with this thing? Looks like I really can't underestimate you. You must have a lot of hidden weapons on you, right? However, I also have concealed weapons, and they are of a higher grade than yours. Captain Kamei sneered. He didn't believe it. He was so angry that he didn't care about anything else. A cold light flashed in his hand as he rushed toward Su Yun. Sure enough, it was another hidden weapon. Su Yun stepped forward without hesitation and suddenly shouted, "Right hand!" As soon as Captain Kamei swung his right fist, which was secretly equipped with a blade, there was a crisp sound of collision. His fist was shaken and numbed. Just as Captain Kamei hesitated, Su Yun's arrow simply hit Captain Kamei's face like a meteor. With a perfect arc drawn by the nosebleed, Captain Kamei's body was thrown high into the air, and then he had a free fall. On the side, Lin Gu looked at Su Yun with a smile, playing with a coin in his hand. He was Su Yun's hidden weapon. How is it? My hidden weapon is of a higher grade than yours, right? Su Yun smiled and looked at Captain Kamei, who was lying on the ground. I only need to say one word, and my hidden weapon will hit wherever I point. Captain Kamei forced himself to get up and spat out a mouthful of blood with teeth. He really couldn't afford to offend the holder of the Mahogany Order. Just these two people, and he was sent to this miserable world. Looking at his brothers who were overturned on the ground, was he really wiped out? I admit defeat today. Everything I have, as long as you want it, you can take it. I'll even give you the ship. Captain Kamei chose to give up. You can also kill me, but I want to do one last thing for my brothers. Mouth. Su Yun smiled faintly. Pa. Two of Captain Kamei's few remaining teeth were smashed by the coin, and he swallowed them down with blood. He looked at Su Yun in surprise. He didn't even attack. Could he really shoot the hidden weapon with just his mouth? He didn't even have a chance to play tricks. Lin Gu didn't move at all. He didn't let Captain Kamei know that he was the one who attacked. Captain Kamei, think clearly before you say anything, Su Yun said. You'll even give me the ship? What are you up to? Of course, Captain Kamei didn't have any good intentions. Pirates also had dignity. In order to prevent his ship from being robbed one day, Captain Kamei hid a bomb at the bottom of the ship, and he carried the bomb's control device with him. As long as he pressed the password, his ship would be blown to pieces. Captain Kamei had already fallen to this point and could only plan to make a comeback. But he had to avenge Su Yun, so he wanted to trick him one last time. But he didn't expect the other party to be so vigilant and immediately realized that something was wrong. You pirates aren't so kind, Su Yun said, but I'm quite interested in the second half of your sentence. What do you want to do for your brothers in the end? Don't kill them. Give them a chance. Captain Kamei smiled bitterly. What he said was true. Perhaps people would always think of those who had sacrificed for them when they had no way out. They would want to fight for the rights that they could fight for in the end. Okay, quite benevolent, Su Yun said, but don't be a pirate in the future. The Pacific is so charming, it's really not suitable for this line of work. If you want to be a pirate, I'll recommend you a place. Lin Gu laughed. Go to the Caribbean, find white hair, and say that I, Lin Ge, recommended you. For my sake, father will definitely accept you. Captain Kame's face changed. White hair, old man. You know white hair? Not bad. Lin Ge said, why are you interested? Can you really introduce me to white hair old man's team? Captain Kame was so excited that he almost couldn't stand. You know, in the entire ocean today, who didn't want to join white hair old man? Not only could he do what he liked, but he also had the strength to fight with his father and not be suppressed by the world government. And white hair old man's character was respected by all pirates. Who wouldn't want to join his team? I saw that you could still think about your brothers in the end, so I gave you a way out. Lin Ge said, at least you have some benevolence in your heart. If you can go to the Caribbean alive, then go find white hair old man. He will give me face. Captain Kame still couldn't believe it was true. Su Yun snorted. Do we need to fool you? Let you go to the Caribbean to die? If we want you to die, it's just a matter of moving a finger now. Otherwise, why do you think you can still stand here? Haha. Can I really go? Captain Kame didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He really didn't expect that his team would be destroyed this time in exchange for a new student. If he could join White Hair Old Man, it would really be a new life for him. It would be the most meaningful change in his pirate career. Don't dilly-dally like a girl. Lin Ge glanced at Captain Kame and didn't want to bother with him. You're still a pirate captain, right? Even if you're not in the mainstream, you should have some courage and go do what you need to do. Captain Cameron expressed his gratitude and left without looking back. His departure meant that there was one less group of villains in the Pacific Ocean who would not shrink from any crime. And in the distant waters of the Caribbean, there was one more brave sailor who could help the white-haired old man take advantage of the situation. After Su Yun and Lin Ge spent a restless night on the chaotic island, they packed up their supplies and all the treasures that Kame had plundered over the years onto their speedboat. Su Yun said that he would give these to Principal Gu as a thank you gift, so he would definitely give it to him. The restless night was over, and the next day's voyage would continue. Su Yun knew that this was just the beginning of his choice to come to this sea. He had to deal with so many troubles while looking for Phantom. It was destined to be an extraordinary journey. Chapter 1609. The news of the destruction of Captain Kame's sea monster pirates quickly spread throughout the Pacific Ocean. Good news spread far and wide while bad news didn't leave the house. But whether this was good news or bad news, it was hard to say. However, in this way, Su Yun and Lin Ge's heads instantly became popular in the Pacific Ocean. Even the ancient Magpie realm was quite shocked when they heard the news. Although the two of them couldn't be described as single-handedly defeating an entire group of pirates, it was definitely not an easy task. At the very least, it was very respectable that they were able to deal with them in one night. Where did these two boys come from? They are quite powerful. Dongfeng Fan held a bounty poster that he didn't know where he got it from. This was one of the favorite things of pirates in this place. Everyone's value was clearly marked. Even the pirates themselves had a corresponding value. For example, Captain Kame's head was worth 20 million, and Su Yun and Lin Ge defeated him in one fell swoop. As a newcomer who was listed on the bounty poster for the first time, Su Yun's bounty of 30 million was definitely a terrifying amount. On the other hand, Lin Ge also had an identity of 20 million. This pair of brothers who had just arrived in the Pacific Ocean only had a small cruise ship. Their combined net worth was even higher than the total net worth of those small pirate groups. It's quite powerful. 30 million, Yi Yuan smiled bitterly. He had been in this area for so many years, and his head was only worth 48 million. Su Yun, who had just arrived, directly gave him 30 million. TSK, TSK, TSK. This group of pirates really had good taste. Tang Yiping smiled slightly. Their value is really close to ours. Principal, you think so highly of this boy, you must know something, right? No wonder you asked Crocodile to give them such a good yacht, and also prepared so much food and water. Do you have any ideas? Do you want to take these two boys? A golden scale is not a fish in a pond, Gu Magpie Jie said indifferently. Our small temple might not be able to raise one. Dongfeng Fan frowned. The headmaster had never said such words before. One must know that the headmaster was the person whose strength was the closest to the three sovereigns in the world. If he wanted to be the headmaster, he could be ranked just below the Empress Suolangyue and Huangfu Guo. He could be the third sovereign of the underground world. It was just that he had always denied it. Therefore, for the ancient magpie world to say such words, it was really beyond Dongfeng Fan's expectations. This meant that this young man was more than just that. Principal, they are just two young people. Yi Yuan had seen them before, so he felt that the ancient magpie world had overestimated them. I admit that these two young people are rare among the young people I've seen, but... Ancient Magpie Realm smiled and interrupted Yi Yuan. Do you want to make a bet with me? Yi Yuan was startled. The price that those boring fellows are offering to this kid will definitely double in less than 3 days. The corners of Gu Magpie's mouth curled up slightly as if he had seen something delightful. Double? 60 million? Tang Yiping's face trembled. He, Lone Wolf, had made so many pirates tremble in fear. Only then did he have a bounty of 60 million. A young man like this in just 3 days? Directly surpassing him? Impossible. How could this be possible? The highest bounty in the Hunter Academy was the #1 instructor, Zhue Ming, Dongfeng Fan. His bounty of 80 million had not been touched for 3 years. I don't believe it. Without waiting for Yi Yuan to speak, Tang Yiping shook his head. Principal, if the head on this kid's neck is worth 30 million, I doubt that he can last more than 3 days. How many people will be jealous and want to take this money? The two of them are really in big trouble. What about you, Zhue Ming? Do you believe it? Ancient Magpie Realm's gaze landed on Dongfeng Fan. This was his most promising successor. Dongfeng Fan thought for a while, nodded, then shook his head. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe... I believe it, Yi Yuan suddenly said. I didn't at first, but now I believe it. What are you talking about? Tang Yiping laughed. Do you really think that this kid's prestige can surpass your brother's in 3 days? Forget it, the principal is just teasing you. If this kid's value can double in 3 days, I will do whatever you want me to do. Lone Wolf, you said it. Ancient Magpie Realm continued. Just right, in 3 days, I want to find someone to organize these young people who have been on the island for about a year to experience the limit. If you lose, you will lead this matter. Tang Yiping smiled bitterly. Principal, experience the limit again? I was the one who went last time. It was too torturous. I suffered much more than those kids. This time, it's time for someone else to go. Let Crocodile go. He hasn't been there yet. Let him have a taste of what it's like to be an organizer. Otherwise, he'll always laugh at me for being nosy. Last time, you went because you lost a bet. Otherwise, it would have been my turn. Yi Yuan said. This time, you still want to bet. Wait, yes, I will go if I lose the bet. Tang Yiping calmed down. If I win, then I won't go. If I lose, I will go. Yi Yuan said. Tang Yiping pouted. It is your turn anyway. You won't lose. Humph, you always laugh at me. This time, you will take these kids and you will know how hard they are to train. When the time comes, they will all cry for their parents. It will be so annoying. Ancient Magpie Realm laughed. Then it is settled. When the time comes, no one can go back on their word. Principal, don't worry. If this kid wants to go back on his word, I will be the first to disagree. Tang Yiping looked at Yi Yuan proudly. Yi Yuan smiled bitterly. I say, why don't you have the awareness of losing? Prepare to pack your things and go experience the limit again. Slowly you will get used to it. Let's wait and see. Tang Yiping was full of confidence. In 3 days, a young man's prestige in this sea area had surpassed his. This was absolutely impossible. He didn't need to think too much. He admitted that this young man had a bright future, but he didn't believe that he could be so awesome. It was just a simple matter. After Dongfang Fan saw the expression on Ancient Magpie Realm's face, he had a rough judgment in his heart. Perhaps Lone Wolf's gambling luck was really bad. This time, he might lose again. But Tang Yiping didn't think so. He had a good mentality. If this young man could really do it, he would absolutely admire him and cooperate wholeheartedly. Ancient Magpie Realm waved his hand to signal them to do their own things. For the time being, they didn't need to help the two boys. Moreover, he had to remind Yi Yuan to pay attention to Bu Fifen's mood these days. After all, this matter was directly related to his family. Su Yun, this kid is a bit interesting. Ancient Magpie Realm unconsciously revealed a smile. Ever since he talked to Zhuo Langyue on the phone, he was very surprised. Now, his surprise had finally disappeared. It was no wonder that the Empress didn't mind this kid at all. In fact, they were all the same. In the face of a moldable talent, no one wanted to destroy it. This was the future of Huaxia's underground world and the entire world's underground world. Although his father had gone down a path of no return because of his temper and character, they had to do their best to prevent him from repeating the same mistake. That's right. When Yi Yuan mentioned this matter to him, Ancient Magpie Realm knew that Su Yun wasn't just here to look for someone. He was here to look for a place where he couldn't return. This kid was destined to become a legendary figure. As for whether he would find that place or not, Ancient Magpie Realm wouldn't help him or stop him. Everything would take its course. The Ancient Magpie world believed that many things in this world were predestined. Everything would happen due to the cycle of karma. Regardless of whether someone tried to add fuel to the fire or stop it, it wouldn't change the outcome as long as it was predestined. Chapter 1610. It wasn't just the Ancient Magpie Realm that was interested in the rising star in this sea region. On the main island occupied by the sharks, there was a cave that looked inconspicuous but had a different world inside. Under the power of the generator, the entire cave was brightly lit. Two similar bounty posters were placed on the huge table. A middle-aged man with a bare chest and bare back sat in front of the table. His hair and skin were the typical color of Southeast Asia. The countless scars all over his body were shining like glory. Before he spoke, the entire cave was eerily quiet. Everyone was waiting for this person to speak. If he didn't speak, no one even dared to breathe loudly. This bare-chested middle-aged man was one of the top pirate leaders in the Pan-Sea region, the #1 figure of the Sharks gang, Naka. Yes, he was a Thai. It was just that he had been in this sea for too long, so he no longer had the smell of a Thai. However, people could still recognize his nationality at a glance. He had the standard look of a Thai, just like the kind of guy who was not tall and had a small mustache. Everyone could recognize that he was a Japanese at a glance. Naka picked up the bounty poster on the table and carefully looked at the completely unfamiliar face on the poster. A mahogany order holder, and a mahogany order holder. These mahogany order holders brought him so much trouble every year. Every year, how many brothers would die under his hands? Every year, how much money would he lose? He couldn't even count it himself. He believed that no one in this sea region hated these mahogany order holders more than he did. But this time, he didn't hate them. Instead, he admired them. Camel, that small fish, had always been self-righteous. He claimed that he was about to surpass his sharks gang and become the overlord of this sea region. He had always been too lazy to pay attention to them. This time they were solved by these two young people. It was really a big help to him. Just based on this, Naka should treat them well. Naka looked at the bounty poster for a while and finally said, "Are these two people eyeing it?" "Captain, we've already targeted them." The subordinate standing next to Naka nodded and said, "As long as you give the order, we can immediately besiege these two people and bombard them. We will never let them leave this sea alive." Naka got up and kicked back. With a single kick, he sent his subordinate flying several meters away. This beautiful roundhouse kick was a classic move of ancient Muay Thai. Steadiness, accuracy, and ruthlessness were all indispensable. Those who were kicked in the vitals could even be fatally crippled. Although this subordinate was only hit in the back, it was enough to make him unable to get out of bed for 2 days. Who said I wanted them to die? Naka said coldly, can you use your brains when you do things in the future? Use your brains and think about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and what you should do. Do you need me to tell you? Can't you use your brain? Naka had a strange temper, which was why his subordinates were afraid of him. However, Naka was also a very generous person. He could get a lot of benefits from following him, which was why all his subordinates were willing to follow him. Most pirate leaders would keep 90% of the spoils for themselves, and the remaining 10% would be divided among their subordinates. Whether it was a large organization like the White Whale Society or a small organization like the Sea Monster Society, they all used this method of sharing benefits. Only Naka wasn't like this. Naka would take out 50% of the spoils and give them to his subordinates. His generosity made many people loyal to him, and he could get 4 times more benefits here than elsewhere. The only thing he had to endure was Naka's strange temper. Naka would often attack casually, and his hands were heavy. If someone who didn't have the ability to resist was beaten by him, death and disability would be a thing. This meant that even if he would give away 50% of his wealth, there would still be people who would go to the White Whale Society or other pirate groups that could only share 10%. This was a very normal phenomenon. Everyone had their own aspirations, and everyone pursued different things. No matter how eccentric Naka's temper was, there would always be people who pursued money. No matter how generous Naka was, there would always be people who pursued comfort. Once Naka got angry, his subordinates didn't dare to speak easily. No one wanted to burn Naka's anger on themselves. There was only one way for him to vent his anger. Once his anger was vented, the matter would be over. Let me tell you, these 2 people can't die. These 2 people are very important to us. Do you understand? Naka said. New faces. Holders of the Mahogany Order. What does this mean? This means that if we don't take these 2 people down, that old guy surnamed Gu's strength will increase again. Isn't that right? Who said it wasn't? All the subordinates were angry but didn't dare to say anything. It was because they were afraid that Gu Magpie World strength would increase that they had to kill these 2 guys. That was why they had to end this Mahogany Order holder's life. What's the result of killing them? It won't increase Gu's strength. Naka's anger had mostly been vented. And then? There's no then. Their strength hasn't increased, and our strength is still the same. The final result is that we wasted so much energy in vain, but we changed the situation that didn't change anything. In that case, why don't we leave these 2 people to the White Whale Society to kill? Won't it save us some energy? That made sense. That was quite reasonable. Everyone was nodding. It seemed that Boss Naka's thoughts were different this time. He didn't want to interfere in this matter today. It really wasn't his style. Just when everyone thought that Naka was going to ignore this matter, Naka spoke again. Then why should I let you keep an eye on them? Why? Who can tell me why? Phew. The whole place was silent. No one dared to speak. If they said something wrong, it would be death. Trash, rice buckets, all of you are useless. You can't even understand such a simple logic. Naka said, my sacrifice is to change the situation. If these 2 people can join us, then our strength will increase. If they can't join us, then we will lead them to the White Whale Society. The White Whale Society's strength will be weakened, and it will also be a blow to Gu. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? Only then did the subordinates understand the boss's good intentions. Captain, you know, Camel was trying to bribe these 2 people at that time, so he was destroyed. This kind of subordinate who dared to speak really didn't care about his life. But the eccentric Naka suddenly appreciated him and said softly, yes, that's right. You're right. I like people like you who dare to tell the truth. But I also want to tell you, don't compare me with a small character like Camel. What can he give them? He doesn't have the ability to meet their requirements. But I do. Yes. Naka's face revealed an unfathomable smile. Now you all understand what I mean, right? If you understand, then quickly do as I say and do what you should do. Those who don't know what to do, use your brain and think carefully. Naka pointed at his temple. I've told you many times that you have to use your brain to do things. Here is the brain. Do you understand? Naka liked talents with high IQ. Unfortunately, talents with high IQ knew that staying by his side would lead to their deaths sooner or later, so there were no talents with high IQ around him. Most of his subordinates would only do things according to his orders, but they didn't know how to use their brains to think about something. This was a situation that Naka hated very much. But this situation that Naka hated very much was definitely not something that could be changed in a short time. He didn't realize that this situation was caused by his own personality flaw. Chapter 16:11. In terms of identity as a Pacific pirate, the only one who could challenge Naka was probably Chiu Hang of the Beluga whale clan. Yes, he was from the Fuguang region of Huaxia. However, he had been away from home for too long and had long lost his Chinese character. Speaking of which, Chiu Hang could be considered a descendant of a famous family among the pirates. His ancestor was a famous sea merchant and pirate in the late Ming dynasty. Chiu Hang's ancestor, Chiu Jifa, became a legendary figure in the eyes of many during the late Ming dynasty. In his early years, Chiu Jifa left his hometown and ventured into the world to become a pirate. However, at the same time, he relied on his outstanding intelligence to become a sea merchant and a pirate. Later on, he used the money in his hands to get close to the imperial court and became an official, becoming a special existence that was both a merchant and an official. Chiu Jifa's triple identity of being an official, a pirate, and a merchant could indeed be considered a legend. Chiu Hang admired his ancestor very much. He had heard his father talk about his ancestor since he was young. Chiu Jifa was involved in a wide range of maritime activities, from the sea to the land, from within the country to overseas. He had frequent trade contacts with Japanese, Americans, and Europeans. In the fierce competition of overseas commerce, Chiu Jifa was quick-witted and good at using interpersonal relationships to deal with matters. Through various means, he obtained huge wealth. In a dozen years, he became a sea merchant whose wealth could rival that of a country. His pirate clan was definitely at an epic level. He had 1,000 ships and 100,000 men. After entering the Ming dynasty, he controlled 10,000 ships of all kinds. He was able to gather 3,000 ships and could be called the king of ships in this world. In his later years, Chiu Jifa led armed fleets across the sea and attacked the imperial court. When the officers and soldiers saw him, they were like mice that saw a cat. What was even more legendary was that he had repelled several invasions by the European colonists in Huaxia's South China Sea. He also destroyed other pirate groups and unified the sea, completely shaking the Southeast Sea. Later on, the imperial court was also afraid of him and made him a sea general, making him an official. After becoming an official, Chiu Jifa used the power in his hands and his sea strength to completely monopolize overseas trade. This was the legendary history of Chiu Hang's ancestor. Therefore, as a pirate, he could indeed be called a descendant of a famous family. However, it was a pity that the later generations did not have Chiu Jifa's courage, so the family continued to decline. In the Qing dynasty, due to the pressure of the imperial court and the more powerful naval forces of the Eight-Nation Alliance, Chiu Jifa's descendants declined generation after generation. After the new Huaxia was established, pirates were not allowed to exist, and Chiu Hang's father's generation was completely wiped out. Chiu Hang knew that he would never be able to make a name for himself in the Southeast Sea of Huaxia. If he wanted to bring glory to his ancestors and take back what his ancestor, Chiu Jifa, had once owned, he would have to go to a remote sea region. Today's society was no longer the same as before, so the choice of location was very important. Chiu Hang wanted to go to the Caribbean or Malacca, but the local tyrants in those places were not to be trifled with. Furthermore, he had heard of the white-haired old man's reputation. With his abilities back then, the white-haired old man could probably kill him with a flick of his finger. He did not want to be a cleaner on the white-haired old man's ship. He did not want to rely on anyone to become a pirate. He wanted to be the leader. It was with this strong desire that Chiu Hang came to the Pacific Ocean and infiltrated a small pirate group. In 2 months, he overthrew the small pirate group's regime and killed the incompetent captain. Yes, the Beijing clan back then was a small pirate group with less than 30 people. A dilapidated ship was all they had. 26 years. Chiu Hang used 26 years to develop the Beijing clan from a small pirate group with less than 30 people to a large pirate group with more than 1,000 subordinates. Although this number could not be compared to his ancestors, the world was different now. There were only a handful of pirate groups with more than 1,000 subordinates in the world, and there were too many in the past. Hua Xia pirates at the end of the Eastern Jin dynasty. Ancestor? Sun An's pirate army of nearly 1 million people moved to the vast area south of the Yangtze River and dominated both the East and South Seas. This was even more exaggerated. In other words, in today's world, it was already a very terrifying number for a pirate to have a main force of more than 1,000 people. The white-haired old man definitely had one. Moreover, everyone on his ship was famous and had the ability to establish a pirate group on their own. It was only because they were sincerely convinced by him that they were willing to be his subordinates. Chiu Hang's thousands of subordinates could not be compared with the white-haired old man, but in this sea, no one dared to be compared with him. Oh yes, there was one, and that was the somewhat psychopathic and eccentric Naka. Naka's shark gang and Chiu Hang's Beijing clan were recognized as the two major forces here. Even the ancient magpie world did not dare to underestimate them. Although it was difficult to tell who was stronger between the two, for some reason, most people would think that Chiu Hang was slightly better. Whether it was because he was a descendant of a famous family, or because Naka was somewhat psychopathic and eccentric, it was hard to say. Since Naka had already set his eyes on Su Yun and Lin Gu, Chiu Hang naturally would not remain silent. His trusted deputy, Curly, brought him all the information they had, including the fact that Naka's people had already set their eyes on Su Yun and Lin Gu. The biggest difference between Chiu Hang and Naka was that Chiu Hang was better at using people and trusting people, unlike Naka, whose confidants were all Thai people. Chiu Hang would not take care of his own people and not give others a chance. He only had one philosophy, and that was to take care of those who could. Although Curly was not Chinese, he was deeply trusted and valued by Chiu Hang. Chiu Hang looked at the bounty poster in his hand many times. Such a young face made him feel deeply. When he first arrived, he was only 20 years old. Now, he was 46 years old. Time is really unforgiving. It's so good to be young. Curly, we have an old saying in Hua Xia. The back waves of the Yangtze River push the front waves, and the front waves die on the beach. Chiu Hang had already trained Curly to be a Hua Xia expert. Do you know what this means? Curly nodded. Captain, you mean to say that the blue is better than the blue? Chiu Hang nodded. Sure enough, you know me. These two young people are not simple. Just by being able to obtain the mahogany order from Principal Gu at such a young age, it is not something that ordinary people can do. It is really not wise to make enemies with such people. What do you think Naka will do? That pervert Naka will definitely cause trouble for himself. Captain, I think we can take advantage of the situation, Curly said. Chiu Hang frowned and shook his head. I don't think Naka will be stupid in this matter. It's the first time someone with such a high bounty at such a young age has appeared in this part of the ocean. Naka will also know that the most important thing in today's society is talent. He will recruit. Curly was stunned. No way, just him. How could he make such a rational judgment? You know what kind of person he is. If I stand in his position and think about the problem, I think he might not be so friendly, right? Whoever can have such a strong helper might be able to achieve hegemony. When Chiu Hang said this, there was no expression on his face at all. He had to be careful. There was nothing absolute in the world. If Naka really got lucky and could get such a powerful helper, then it would be hard to say who was the boss in this sea. On that day, the same principle was suitable for him. If he could get such a talent, then he would also become the overlord of this sea. In fact, things were really that simple. And if none of them could get such a strong helper, then the suppression of the ancient magpie world on them would become even worse in the future. This was a tripartite interest relationship. Qiu Heng had a headache. He didn't know how his ancestor would deal with it if he was still here. How could he reap the benefits of the fisherman's quarrel? Chapter 16:12. Now, Su Yun and Lin Guo were completely unaware of the whirlpool behind them. Under this seemingly calm sea, huge waves had already begun to spin and were approaching them step by step. 2 days at sea passed very slowly. Su Yun and Lin Guo still had nothing to show for it. They didn't get any news about Phantom, and of course, they didn't have any news about Martin or Franz Island's prison for serious criminals. Fortunately, Su Yun was prepared for a protracted battle. He didn't feel disappointed because of this momentary disappointment. The Pacific Ocean was so big. 2 days was nothing. As long as they continued to work hard, they would definitely gain something. In these 2 days, Su Yun also experienced the benefits of Yi Yuan's mahogany medallion. He really admired Principal Gu's character in this area of the sea. Everyone who saw the mahogany medallion knew that they were Principal Gu's people. When they saw the mahogany medallion, they treated it as if they were seeing Principal Gu. In these 2 days, they had landed on 5 islands. All of them were served tea, wine, and food. The degree of enthusiasm made Su Yun and Lin Guo feel embarrassed. This also eased Su Yun and Lin Ji's disappointment to a certain extent. While experiencing different customs, Su Yun and Lin Ji's current state of mind quickly became Su Yun and Lin Ji's current state of mind. As the saying goes, don't rush. If it's yours, it's yours. If it's not yours, then it's meaningless to do more. Su Yun would do his best to find Phantom. There was no need to feel guilty. It was that simple. 2 days of peace really made Su Yun and Lin Guo feel a little relaxed. However, when they set off on their journey on the 3rd morning, they quickly got into trouble again. In the vast ocean, a lone boat and a person looked so pitiful. And it was the person on this lone boat who asked Su Yun and Lin Guo for help. Judging from the gloomy weather this morning, it was obvious that a storm was unavoidable. This storm didn't need to be too big to easily sink the lone boat. This was something that was beyond doubt. Lin Guo looked at Su Yun. He didn't know what to do. Let him come up. Su Yun didn't think much about it. He just felt that saving a life was better than building a 7-storied pagoda. The first thing the rescued person did was to kneel heavily in front of Su Yun and Lin Guo and sincerely say, "Thank you." Su Yun and Lin Guo were dumbfounded. Just now, they were shouting in English for help. Suddenly, Chinese came out. Chinese? Yes. The rescued man raised his head. It was indeed a Chinese man with yellow skin and black eyes. "My name is Zhang Ji. I can recognize that my 2 benefactors are Chinese at first glance. That's really fate. In this vast ocean, we actually met." Su Yun smiled. "Since we are all Chinese, then don't call us benefactors. My name is Su Yun. He is my brother Lin Guo. You can do whatever you want on the boat. I'm not used to it." Although Lin Guo also had a smile on his face, he was much more vigilant than Su Yun. "Yes, you don't have to be so restrained. Where are you going? Let's take you there on the way." As soon as this person got on the boat, Lin Guo issued a disguised order to leave. After all, he was a stranger. Staying on the boat was indeed a bit unsettling. "I don't know where I can go." Zhang Ji smiled bitterly. I'll tell you my identity. Don't mind it. I'm a pirate who was expelled from the sea. Our captain gave me a small boat and let me fend for myself. I've been floating on the sea for 3 days and 3 nights. Did you commit a crime?" Su Yun asked. Zhang Ji nodded. He wanted to say something but hesitated. Lin Guo sized up Zhang Ji and asked, "What crime did you commit? Which pirate crew are you from? They banished you directly. They don't intend to let you go back alive, right?" Zhang Ji nodded again. "Yes. The captain didn't intend to let me go back alive. I'm a pirate from the White Whale crew. Oh, this really piqued Su Yun and Lin Ge's curiosity. The White Whale crew was a great pirate crew. It was normal for them to banish one or two people. It could be considered fate that they bumped into each other. White Whale crew, a big force, Su Yun said calmly. Then what crime did you commit? Zhang Ji smiled bitterly and sighed. I admit, as a pirate, I have no right to talk about justice and principles. But I still can't accept some things. I can rob and rob, but they force me to rape those pitiful girls. I really can't do it. Su Yun and Lin Gu looked at each other. This guy was quite principled. I'm a newbie in the White Whale crew. Because I didn't do such despicable things, my captain ordered me to be banished and left me to fend for myself. Zhang Ji said. But I still can't do it. I'd rather be banished than do such things. Su Yun gave him a thumbs up in appreciation. Manly enough. That's why I ended up like this. Zhang Ji smiled bitterly. Benefactors, you are seafarers? Or adventurers? Can you take me with you on future voyages? I want to be one of you. I don't want to be a pirate without integrity anymore. We're neither seafarers nor adventurers. We have our own things to do. So it's inconvenient. Lin Gu rejected him at once. When we reach the next island, you can disembark. With our reputation, we can definitely get the islanders to help you think of a way to leave. We can't take you with us. Zhang Ji was stunned. I can bear hardships. I can do odd jobs for benefactors, cook, clean the ship. I can do anything. Just let me stay. You can cook? Let's give it a try. Su Yun smiled. Lin Gu was stunned. Bro, this. Su Yun gestured for him to do as he said. Lin Gu didn't say anything. If Su Yun really wanted to keep this guy on the ship, he wouldn't say anything. He just needed to pay more attention to this guy. Hearing that, Zhang Ji immediately went to the ship's kitchen to prepare breakfast. He was really good at it. Although it was just a simple buttered toast and fried eggs, it looked delicious. Zhang Ji put 2 sets of breakfast in front of Su Yun and Lin Gu. He looked at them expectantly, hoping to get their approval. Lin Gu took a bite of the fried egg and nodded with satisfaction. He liked this kind of tender fried egg. It felt so good. 1 bite and it turned yellow. Not bad, bro. This guy's cooking is really good. Try it. Su Yun nodded and gave his share to Zhang Ji. You eat it. Zhang Ji was stunned. Benefactor, are you complaining that I didn't cook it well? I can improve it. Really, I can improve it. Try it. If there's anything bad, point it out to me. I'm saying, you eat it. I didn't say it was bad, Su Yun said. Zhang Ji was stunned. Su Yun's voice changed. You've been drifting on the sea for 3 days. Aren't you hungry? Hearing Su Yun's words, Lin Gu immediately understood Su Yun's intention. Without saying anything, he suddenly pressed Zhang Ji's throat on the table. No wonder I felt that there was something wrong with you. I'm hungry, but I don't dare to eat. Benefactor, you haven't eaten yet. Zhang Ji explained. It seems that you haven't experienced what it's like to be hungry for 3 days. If you want to experience it, I can help you. Su Yun, let me tell you, people who have been hungry for 3 days don't care about any other factors when it comes to food, because they will starve to death if they don't eat. Is life more important or other things more important? Isn't this a simple question? Zhang Ji was stunned. He didn't know how to refute or explain. You've been drifting on the sea for 3 days, and you don't even have the smell of damp sea salt on you. Su Yun continued, Tell me, where did you sleep last night? Brother, you knew that there was something wrong with him. Why didn't you tell me? I almost believed him, Lin Gu said. I ate the food he made. I really don't know if he poisoned it. Su Yun smiled. I just wanted to see if you could tell. Pigeon. Be careful in the future. Do you understand? Yes. Lin Gu nodded. indicating that he understood. Chapter 16:13. Zhang Ji looked at the two of them nervously. Lin Gu picked up the kitchen knife beside him. Tell the truth. Wasting time like this is getting boring. Yes, to tell the truth. Zhang Ji's face was bitter, as expected of a mahogany order holder. His vigilance was immediately seen through. If he had known this would happen, he would have worn clothes that were damp from the sea breeze and hunted for food on board. That way, his story would have been more believable. His mistake was that he had no experience of being banished. He didn't know what it was like to be blown on the sea for 3 days, nor did he know what it was like to be starved for 3 days at sea. The importance of life experience was vividly displayed at times like this. Stop lying. Su Yun, your eyes have already betrayed you. If you want to lie in front of me, then don't let me find out from the start. Once I find out, all your lies will be exposed. Do you know that the pupils of the eyes represent the function of the kidneys? One look at your pupils and I can tell that you have kidney deficiency due to long-term indulgence. When you said that you didn't participate in the rape of girls, didn't you feel ashamed? You've done a lot of this, haven't you? Zhang Ji was really convinced this time. Really, he was so impressed that he prostrated himself on all fours. You can even tell. What kind of gaze is that? You can tell kidney deficiency from pupils. Zhang Ji admitted that his backache and weakness were often caused by excessive indulgence. It seemed that he really was weak. I don't dare to lie anymore. I don't dare to lie anymore. Zhang Ji begged. I'll tell the truth. I'll tell the truth. It was the captain who asked me to come. I had no choice. I beg the two of you to let me go. I didn't do anything. Please let me go. Seeing that we're both Chinese, can you do it? The Beijing clan can't hold back anymore? Lin Gu said. Wait, what's your captain's name? Qiu Hang. Zhang Ji said. Su Yun sneered. Lin Gu placed the kitchen knife on Zhang Ji's finger. Keep lying. Do you think I don't dare to cut it? Kid, let me tell you, if I can cut potatoes as thin as a strand of hair, then I can cut your fingers as thin as a finger. I didn't make it up. Just ask around. Everyone knows that the captain of our beluga whale regiment is Qiu Hang. Zhang Ji shouted. He was truly afraid that Lin Gu would cut him down. A person who would betray his master without hesitation. If I were Qiu Hang, I definitely wouldn't arrange for such a person to work for me. Su Yun lightly said, Pigeon, don't talk nonsense with him. He won't tell the truth. According to the rules, chop off his hands, pull out his tongue, and throw him down to feed the sharks. Okay. Lin Gu raised the kitchen knife in his hand with a whoosh. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I'll talk. Speak. Tell me everything. I won't lie anymore. Zhang Ji closed his eyes and gritted his teeth. He was afraid that if the knife cut him, everything would be over. Lin Gu chopped the knife less than a centimeter away from Zhang Ji's finger, scaring Zhang Ji into a cold sweat. If I pull out your tongue, you won't have the chance to speak even if you want to, Lin Gu said. Don't waste my time. Is that okay? Yes. I am not a member of the beluga whale regiment. Zhang Ji smiled bitterly. If Captain Naka knew that he was soft-spoken, he would die when he returned. He was now in a dilemma. But he could only save his own life first and think of another way. Since you're not a member of the beluga whale regiment, then you claim to be a member of the beluga whale regiment. Su Yun raised his eyebrows. Looks like your Sharks clan and the beluga whale regiment don't get along. At least on the surface, but on the inside. Zhang Ji smiled bitterly and found an excuse for himself. He wasn't the one who said it. It was Su Yun who saw through it. Even if Captain Naka questioned him, he would say so. Do you admit it or not? Lin Gu said. If you don't admit it, I'll teach you a lesson. Tell me, is your blood red or black? I admit it. Zhang Ji said repeatedly. I was really forced to do this. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be willing to do this job. Brothers, I beg you. Give me a way out. I swear, I'll change my face. I'll be a new man. Can you do that? Su Yun had no interest in wasting his breath on a small fry. You can meet us so coincidentally. Do you think I'm stupid enough to think that there aren't any of your people around? How many people are here? Give me a count. Let's see if you're honest. Zhang Ji was dumbfounded. How was he supposed to open his mouth? You're not going to say it, are you? Lin Gu glared. Brother, I think this grandson won't shed a tear until he sees the coffin. Let's not give him face. So what if he's Chinese? The Chinese are all bastards. They're just as disgusting as the Japanese. Let him bleed, Su Yun said. We've met someone who's really stubborn today. Lin Gu put down the kitchen knife in his hand and picked up a sharp cone-shaped knife. With a whoosh, he pierced the back of Zhang Ji's hand and pressed it against the chopping board. Ah! This pig-like scream echoed in the Pacific Ocean. Zhang Ji's mouth finally softened. There was no other way. He wouldn't die for Naka. Naka didn't treat him very well. He hit and scolded him whenever he wanted. If it weren't for the stinky money, he really wouldn't be willing to work for Naka. If he lost his life, there would be no place to spend his money. Zhang Ji understood this. I'll tell you everything. I was sent by Captain Naka. Zhang Ji gritted his teeth and endured the pain in his hand. But Captain Naka doesn't mean any harm. He wants to make friends with you, but he doesn't want Captain Chiu Hang of the Beluga Whale clan to make friends with you. So, he sent me to create a facade and cause some trouble. Su Yun nodded. He believed this. If I don't expose you, what will you do next? I'll attack you when you're not paying attention, then steal your things and escape, Zhang Ji said. You'll implicate Captain Chiu Hang with your anger. This way, our Captain Naka will have a chance to make friends with you. Su Yun shook his head in disdain. Is there a need to make it so complicated? If you want to make friends, just say the word. Zhang Ji was stunned. Was he hallucinating? He spent so much effort and was even stabbed, and Su Yun just said such a simple sentence. Wouldn't all his efforts have been in vain? Pigeon, send him off the boat. Let him continue to float. Su Yun didn't give Zhang Ji a chance to explain. Lin Gu pulled Zhang Ji up and threw him into the sea without a word. The lonely boat was returned to him. Zhang Ji's hand was bleeding. Of course, he was scared. Many carnivorous creatures in the ocean had a super-sensitive sense of smell to the smell of blood. You can't leave me like this. I'll die. Zhang Ji cried. If your people can leave you here, they can bring you back. Lin Gu ignored him. After throwing him away, he turned back to sail the boat. He didn't want the smell of blood to attract any sea monsters. If that happened, they would be in trouble too. Looking at the small boat in the distance, Zhang Ji frantically used his uninjured hand to swim in the water. He tried his best to leave the area contaminated by his blood. At the same time, he screamed for help at the top of his lungs. He hoped that his people could hear him. Otherwise, he really couldn't be saved. When the boat was far away, Lin Gu smiled. Brother, we'll definitely be in trouble today. Yeah. Su Yun said, the sharks won't take this lying down. We have to be careful. They've been watching us for a long time. I believe they'll come to us today. These guys are really annoying. There's no end to it. Can't help it. Who asked me to be so charming? Lin Gu laughed. Brother, it's okay. We'll deal with it when it comes. No matter what happens, I'll be with you. Chapter 16:14. Poor Zhang Ji didn't see his men after he was abandoned. His men's ships went straight to Su Yun and Lin Ji's yacht in order to gain merit in front of Captain Naka. As for Zhang Ji's life or death, it had nothing to do with their interests. They didn't need to save him at all. This kind of behavior of not saving one's own people was very normal in Naka's shark gang. They were a group of guys who gathered together for personal benefits. If they weren't people who absolutely advocated personal benefits, they wouldn't have to stay in the shark gang every day to eat a mouthful of rice that could get a few more coins. Of course, Zhang Ji wasn't unlucky enough to be targeted by a sea monster that smelled blood. At this moment, the ship that appeared in front of him had a very obvious mark. It was the mark of a white whale that floated out of the sea. No one in this area didn't know this mark. It was the mark of the white whale gang. The people on the ship didn't give Zhang Ji time to react. They directly carried him onto the ship. Zhang Ji's face was blank, and his heart was filled with fear. Although they were all pirates and thieves, no matter what industry they were in, there was a saying that people of the same trade were enemies. Usually, in order to not let the ancient magpie world take advantage of the situation, the shark gang and the white whale gang didn't have any conflicts. However, this was also a sign of discord. Everyone was well aware of this, and no one was willing to expose it. The two sides also tried their best to avoid contact to avoid conflicts. Zhang Ji looked up at the people of the white whale gang on the ship and recognized Captain Mo Tai at a glance. This guy was famous for being ruthless in the white whale gang. He was highly valued and appreciated by Captain Chiu Hung. Among the few reputable captains in the white whale gang, Mo Tai's name could be considered the most famous. Zhang Ji was naturally a little afraid of meeting him. "Brother of the shark gang, what's the situation? Why are you so miserable?" Mo Tai said with a smile. He was originally a sea merchant, and his route was to deliver supplies to the Hawaiian Islands. Later, he was robbed by pirates, and because he was outnumbered, he was defeated. He was left on an isolated island with nothing. It was Chiu Hung who saved him and gave him a chance. Since then, Mo Tai had always been by Chiu Heng's side. Although Chiu Hang was also a pirate, Mo Tai did not care. I'm not. Zhang Ji wanted to come up with an excuse. He didn't want Mo Tai to know that he was a member of the Sharks gang. But when he wanted to say that he was an ordinary person, he couldn't bring himself to say it. That was because the Beijing gang was also a gang of thieves. If he said that he was an ordinary person, wouldn't it be obvious that he was being bullied? If he was thrown into the sea with a knife, wouldn't he be even worse off? Have you thought of something to make up? Mo Tai was still smiling. There's no rush. Think about it slowly. We'll talk after you've thought it through. I'm not that easy to fool. Mo Tai was of mixed Chinese and European descent, with a quarter of Hua Xia blood. Therefore, as a Chinese, Zhang Ji could only use this connection to speak. Captain Mo Tai, everyone has Hua Xia blood flowing in their veins. You saved my life. I can't thank you enough. I like that. I like it when people know that I have Hua Xia blood in my veins. Do you know what our captain said about me? He said that I can't be considered a descendant of Yan Huang, but I can still be considered a grandson of Yan Huang. A grandson is still a grandson, Mo Tai said. After saying that, he felt that he was scolding himself, so he spat. A grandson of Yan Huang is the same as a descendant of Yan Huang. Yes. Zhang Ji hurriedly said. You're a grandson, I'm a grandson, both of us are grandsons. With a swoosh, several guns were pointed at Zhang Ji's head. It didn't matter if Mo Tai called himself a grandson, but it didn't matter if others said so. Zhang Ji realized that he had made a mistake and immediately shut up. He knew that if he said anything wrong again, he wouldn't be able to get off the ship alive. I didn't mean that, Captain Mo Tai. I really didn't mean that. We're compatriots. Zhang Ji hurriedly explained. I really don't dare to scold you. Okay. I know. Mo Tai waved his hand, and his subordinates put down their guns. Since you don't admit that you're a member of the Sharks sect, give me a reason. Where are you from? You have to give me an answer. I'm a pirate. You know what I do for a living. Captain Mo Tai. If I'm a member of the Sharks sect, you... Zhang Ji asked tentatively. If you're a member of the Sharks sect, I'll definitely give face to Captain Naka. Mo Tai said, we're all pirates. What's that saying again? Oh, yes, we're from the same roots. Why are we in such a hurry to kill each other? Don't you agree? Zhongji heaved a sigh of relief. Yes, yes, yes. Captain Mo Tai, you're right. We're from the same roots. We can't kill each other too quickly. Mo Tai shook his head helplessly. He despised such uncultured people the most. Captain Mo Tai, I'm a member of the Shark sect. I really am. If you give face to Captain Naka will definitely remember this favor. Zhongji nodded and bowed. Thank you for saving me. If you can send me back, then I'll be even more grateful. Captain Naka will also be very grateful. You drank too much early in the morning? I'll send you back. Mo Tai looked at Zhongji, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Can't you be more reliable? How am I unreliable? Zhongji was stunned, but he quickly understood that Mo Tai couldn't send him back. After all, they weren't from the same faction. They were also not on good terms in this sea region. It was impossible for them to be so close. After he reacted, Zhongji hurriedly explained, Yes. I'm too naive. I asked Captain Mo Tai to send me somewhere nearby, and then I'll go back by myself. I'll never forget your great kindness. Who are you? You want our Captain Mo Tai to send you back? Hearing this, Zhongji was once again embarrassed. He didn't have much of a reputation here. Why would Captain Mo Tai care about him? If you can promise me one thing, I can consider sending you back. Captain Mo Tai smiled. Please say it. Let alone one thing, even if it's 10 things, I'll agree to it. Zhongji was so excited that he was incoherent. Mo Tai nodded. So it's like this. Why were you thrown off the ship just now? What's the situation? Tell me. Zhongji was stunned. Of course, he couldn't say it. If he did, he would definitely die. Rice could be eaten carelessly, but words couldn't be spoken carelessly. He had just poured dirty water on the Beijing clan. Of course, he couldn't admit it. There were 2 of my brothers on that ship. They had a little conflict. So. Zhongji smiled bitterly. Mo Tai pointed at Zhongji's injured palm. You used a knife for a conflict between brothers? Looks like brother isn't willing to tell me the truth. Forget it. After you return with me, I believe Captain Chiu Hang will definitely make you tell the truth. After a pause, Mo Tai said, Our Beijing clan isn't willing to pay any attention to your Sharks clan. But that doesn't mean we won't care if you play dirty tricks behind our backs. Take him away and lock him up. No. Captain Mo Tai, I still have something to say. Zhongji hurriedly pleaded. But Mo Tai ignored him. 2 of his subordinates dragged Zhongji away and locked him up in a small dark room. The Sharks clan had always been despicable. This time, they wouldn't be nice to them anymore. Since they wanted to play dirty tricks, the Beijing clan wouldn't be polite to them anymore. Mo Tai knew very well that the Sharks clan was up to no good. Chapter 16:15. In the eyes of the other pirates in this area, Chiu Hang was definitely a demon in a gentlemanly outfit. If you weren't his brother, friend, or subordinate, then the next second he smiled and chatted with you, he might stab you in the heart with a sharp knife. That was why he was so scary. When Mo Tai brought Zhongji from the Sharks to Chiu Hang just looked at him without saying a word. Zhongji's legs were already weak and he almost knelt on the ground. This was the aura that Chiu Hang exuded after dominating this area for many years. To be precise, it was the aura of a king. Indeed, in this area, if Chiu Hang said that he was second, even Naka from the Sharks wouldn't dare to say that he was first. This was the source of his aura of a king. Every time I see a Chinese, I feel a special sense of familiarity. Chiu Hang smiled. Sometimes, I even dream about why the descendants of the dragon are so powerful. They can spread all over the world and become experts in various fields, making people from other countries look up to us Chinese. At this point, Chiu Hang closed his eyes and looked like he was enjoying himself. Yes, in this area, No one dared to look down on the Chinese. This was mainly because of his existence. Because of his strength, all the Chinese were able to stand up straight. Because of his existence, all the Chinese were a head above others. He was very proud of this. What do you think? Qiu Heng suddenly asked. Zhang Ji nodded repeatedly. He didn't know what he should say. To be more precise, he didn't even dare to open his mouth. Once he opened his mouth and said something wrong, he would be no different from a dead man. Qiu Heng didn't even need to lift a finger. Just a glance was enough to kill him. It wasn't an exaggeration at all. Qiu Heng shook his head. That's not good. I don't like people without integrity. Yes, of course, you're not Hua Xia. You're just Hua Xia. But I still don't like it. You have the blood of a descendant of the dragon, but you don't even have the courage to speak in front of me. You're not worthy. Do you know? You're not worthy. He was afraid that he would say something wrong, but not speaking was also wrong. Zhang Ji's expression was almost twisted. He didn't know whether to cry or laugh. He even wanted to die. Unworthy? What else could he say? Should I say that I'm not worthy, or should I say that I'm worthy? How dare he talk back to Qiu Heng so confidently? Wouldn't that mean they would die even faster? Can't we communicate properly? What the hell is going on here? Mo Tai stepped forward and patted Zhang Ji on the shoulder. Do you understand what the captain means? I've already given you a way out, so don't refuse. On the ship, it's fine if you don't tell me the truth because you think I'm the grandson of Yan Huang. But our captain isn't. If you continue to play tricks, then... What do you mean by Yan Huang's grandson? Qiu Heng was stunned. He did not understand what Mo Tai meant. My dad is from Western Europe. Mo Tai shrugged. Qiu Heng almost laughed out loud. This was interesting, really interesting. Regardless of whether it's a grandson or a maternal grandson, they're both descendants of the dragon. You have to straighten your backs. Captain, I'm also under someone else's control. I have my own principles when helping others. Zhang Ji said, since you say so, then I'll make things clear. Today, no matter what you do to me, I won't say anything that I shouldn't say. You have backbone. Qiu Heng slammed the table. Brothers, serve him with 3 knives and 6 holes. I'll talk to him properly if he doesn't die. Yes, sir. Mo Tai lifted Zhang Ji up. Zhang Ji was dumbfounded. Did this have to be done to someone with backbone? If he had known earlier, he would have been a spineless villain. Captain, didn't you say that you admire people with backbone? Then why are you doing this to me? Zhang Ji was puzzled. Let me finish. Let's sit down and talk. Qiu Heng shook his head. If you can't even withstand 3 knives and 6 holes, then it proves that your backbone is still too soft. Zhang Ji struggled to kneel. Captain, I admit that I'm a spineless person. I'm a spineless person. I don't deserve to be Chinese. I'm trash. I beg you. No matter what you want to know, I'll tell you. Is that okay? As long as you spare my life, I promise that I'll be a dog by your side. Are you insulting the dog I raised? Qiu Heng said disdainfully. Then I'll tell you that the dog I raised has more backbone than you. Spineless, since you're so cooperative, I'll also give you a way out. Tell me, how does Naka want to trick me? Zhang Ji smiled bitterly. They were really too powerful. If he lied, he would definitely be exposed. Captain, I really have no choice. If you want to hang out with people, you have to listen to what they say. You've heard of the newcomer who just appeared 2 days ago, the holder of the Mahogany Order, the one whose value is as high as $30 million. Qiu Heng nodded. Su Yun. The other is called Lin Gu. Yes. It's them. It's them. Zhang Ji said. Captain Naka asked me to provoke them and then told me to say that I'm one of your people. Is Naka's brain thinking about these things every day? He's really bored. Qiu Heng said. In this way, does he think that if he goes to see Su Yun, he can better rope him in to become his person and then be used by him? Not only will it increase his advantage against me, but it will also stop Principal Gu's strength in disguise. Yes, that's what Captain Naka meant. Zhang Ji nodded repeatedly. The corner of Cho Heng's mouth raised slightly. Ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. For so many years, in this sea area, the only opponent who can make me respect is Principal Gu. The other one who can make me look up to him is Naka, but what he did today really made me look down on him. Zhang Ji also said obediently, yes. I also think that Captain Naka's move is a bit too damaging. It's too sinister. There's no such thing as sinister or not, only ridiculous and boring. Cho Heng said. Naka is simply doing a stupid thing. Didn't he use his brain to think that as a person who put a 30 million bounty on his head, how could he not see through all of this? Very good. I have such a stupid competitor. It's a good thing for me. Zhang Ji was stunned. He didn't understand at all. Emotai, I think I can go and meet this Su Yun now, Cho Heng said. With Naka's stupidity helping me lay the foundation, I believe that my conversation with him will go smoothly and be very pleasant. Emotai nodded, roughly understanding Cho Heng's meaning. Captain, your brain is still the best. It's not that I'm good, it's that the competitor is too stupid. Cho Heng said with a smile on his face. Zhang Ji was completely at a loss, but then he quickly recovered. Yes, Su Yun and the others were indeed very smart. They exposed his scam at that time and knew that he was from the Sharks gang. Now, Su Yun's impression of the Sharks gang was not good. Cho Heng's appearance at this time showed the sincerity of the Bai Jing gang. With this comparison, wouldn't Captain Naka's image be completely ruined? Then, wouldn't it be ridiculous for him to still want to recruit Su Yun under his command? This is really a coincidence. You've helped me so much. I won't treat you unfairly, Cho Heng said. Since you're still Captain Naka's man, I have to give you some face. I won't take your life. Thank you, Captain. Zhang Ji finally felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. However, according to the rules, you still have to leave something behind. As for what to leave behind, it's up to you. If you leave too much, I won't mind. If you leave too little, my people will naturally take more. Cho Heng said and waved his hand to let Mo Tai take him away. He felt irritated when he saw people without backbone. Chapter 16:16. The rule of 3 knives and 6 holes originated from Shen Zhang's Dagger Society. Members who violated certain rules would stab their calves 3 times with a knife. 3 knives would leave 6 holes. It was called 3 knives and 6 holes. Perhaps this trick seemed to be very effective and meaningful, so this rule appeared in many gangs in the future. Slowly, it became a way to atone for their sins. This was not a fatal punishment, but it would make people unable to get out of bed for half a month. Some unlucky ones would even injure their muscles and bones when the knife penetrated their calves, directly becoming paralyzed. So this was indeed a heavy punishment. After suffering the pain of 3 knives and 6 holes, Zhang Ji was sent out by the Beluga Whale Society. Zhang Ji finally returned to the front of Captain Naka. When he saw Captain Naka, he immediately hugged his head and burst into tears. He pointed to his 2 broken legs and mumbled for a long time, but still couldn't make it clear what had happened. What Naka cared about was not his 2 crippled legs. What he cared about was whether he had settled Su Yun's matter. He wanted to figure out whether he had done something that he should have done. Zhang Ji cried, "Captain, I will definitely complete what you asked me to do perfectly. But after being found out by Cho Heng, he will definitely play tricks behind my back." Zhang Ji did not dare to tell the truth. If Su Yun had exposed him at that time, then once Naka got angry, he might have killed him now. So he really did not dare to be rash. He could only make up a lie. "Captain, that guy Cho Heng is torturing me. I'm already like this. I can't do anything. But he's too smart. He can actually guess our motives. I really can't do anything about it. But don't worry, Captain, I didn't admit it. I won't admit it, even if I'm beaten to death. Naka glanced at Zhang Ji. You said that Qiu Hang guessed the purpose of me asking you to find Su Yun, and then you didn't admit it. How could he let you go? Hee hee. I didn't expect Qiu Hang to be so bold and open-minded. If it were me, I would definitely not let you go. I would definitely let you die. Yes, 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 Captain Qiu Hang is indeed bold. Halfway through, Zhang Ji suddenly realized that his mouth was really asking for a beating. He immediately changed his words. No. He's not bold. This was called being soft-hearted. A woman's benevolence will never amount to anything. He can't be compared to you, Captain. Your belief is the most correct. A great man must be ruthless. In order to achieve greatness, one had to be ruthless. If you want to become a king, you have to be ruthless. He can't compare to you. He can't become a king. Well said. Naka said, so, a lot of times, I don't do what I want to do. It's just that I can't help it. For example, I really don't want to kill you now, but what if you've been bought over by Qiu Hang? What about being a spy by my side? That will affect my ambition. So, I can only be ruthless. Zhang Ji was stunned. What did that mean? I have to wrong you. Naka said, I can't believe what you said today, so you have to die. Captain Naka. What do you mean? I was outside. I went through fire and water for you. I came back like this. Maybe I'll be a cripple for the rest of my life. You actually want to kill me? Zhang Ji couldn't believe what he had heard. He was really shocked, too shocked. Naka nodded, that's right, I want to kill you. Just in case. I didn't die in the hands of outsiders outside. You want to kill me when I come back? Zhang Ji still couldn't believe it. He stared at Naka and said, Captain, you did this? Have you ever thought about the consequences? Have you ever thought about the stupidity of your actions? I'm stupid? Naka sneered. I don't think I'm stupid. You're the stupid ones. You're the stupid ones. If you don't say anything to Qiu Hang, you won't be able to come back alive. Qiu Hang isn't a charity. He's just like me, a ruthless pirate. Zhang Ji knew that he couldn't save himself this time. The people Naka wanted to kill couldn't escape. Naka, you really are a bastard. Zhang Ji suddenly felt a flame burning in his heart. This flame seemed to be the kind of backbone that Qiu Hang called the descendants of the dragon. I risked my life for you and worked hard for you outside. In the end, I didn't die outside. After returning, I actually want to die in your hands. Yes, you're right. You're going to die in my hands. Naka said, you should be glad. Because of your efforts over the years, I will give you a quick death, so that you will die without any pain. Instead of hanging you, I will use a bullet. With a bang, you will not know anything, and I will leave you an intact corpse. Isn't it very nice of me to do this? The flames in Zhang Ji's heart burned fiercely, but he was not a match for Naka. He was not a match for him when he was healthy. Naturally, it was even more impossible now. Think about it. If you die in the hands of an outsider, you will die in an embarrassing manner. In the end, you will have to throw your corpse to feed the fish. Naka said, you've been with me for so many years. Zhang Ji was silent for a long time. Mr. Lu Sun's words were too classic. If you don't die in silence, then you explode in silence. Zhang Ji exploded without any warning. He didn't know where he got the strength from, but he suddenly pounced on Naka. He knew very well that he couldn't kill Naka, but he decided that even if he died, he would take away some of Naka's things and make Naka regret it for the rest of his life. The unprepared Naka naturally didn't expect Zhang Ji's sudden outburst. Zhang Ji pounced on his back, bit his left ear, and tore it off. Under the stimulation of blood, Zhang Ji laughed loudly as he chewed on the bloody ear in his mouth. He wanted to chew it up and eat it, so that Naka wouldn't even have a chance to repair it. Naka endured the pain and roared, causing all the members of the Shark's gang to tremble in fear. Zhang Ji died miserably. It was indescribable. But Naka also lost an ear because of his ruthlessness. The white gauze on his head was very dazzling. Naka had never smiled since his ear was bitten off. He hated. This hatred had been transferred from the dead Zhang Ji to Qiu Hang. If it weren't for Qiu Heng's interference, he wouldn't have left behind this lifelong regret. Little did he know that Qiu Hang wasn't the only one who wanted to interfere with his Naka plan in this sea. And over the years, they had been looking down on the first marine criminal gang, the Base Pirates. Compared to Qiu Hang and Naka, Base was a native. His family was quite good. He was born in Hawaii, but because of his habitual crime, he was wanted everywhere. In the end, he could only run to the sea to make a living. Unexpectedly, Base was really suitable for this industry. Soon, he started to play tricks in this sea and set up his own pirate group. But for so many years, he had been trying to keep a low profile in front of his peers because the power of Qiu Hang and Naka was indeed not something that ordinary pirates could shake. Therefore, if there was something that Qiu Hang and Naka might be interested in, Base basically chose to avoid it. So Qiu Hang and Naka had never paid attention to him. Little did they know that under their indifference, Base's strength had grown bit by bit. Now, Base could basically say that except for the Beluga Gang and the Sharks Gang, there was no other peer that he was afraid of. This time, Base didn't choose to retreat as usual. Even though he was very clear that the Beluga Gang and the Sharks Gang would be interested in Su Yun, he was going to go all out and see this Su Yun. He had ambitions, he had ideas, but he hadn't had the opportunity for so many years. This time, he was the closest to the opportunity. He believed that once he seized the opportunity, it would mean that he would open up a brand new prosperous sea dynasty. And if he wanted to open up this prosperous sea dynasty, he needed an important bargaining chip to join his camp. And this important bargaining chip was Su Yun, whom both the Beluga Gang and the Sharks Gang had their eyes on. He had his eyes on him too. Of course he had to. Compared to the Beluga Gang and the Sharks Gang, Base was more interested. Because he was very clear that if he could use these two guys who made a name for themselves overnight, he could straighten his back and become a tripartite balance of power with the Beluga Gang and the Sharks Gang. Chapter 16-17. Bath didn't have as many schemes as Naka, nor was he as calm as Qiu Hang. His method was simple and direct. As soon as Su Yun entered his sphere of influence, he was surrounded by Bath's fleet. There were more than 20 speedboats of various sizes. This was the first time Bath had received a reception of this scale. Su Yun and Lin Ge began to get used to this kind of constant harassment and enlistment, so they didn't take it too seriously. After all, Bath didn't have a direct conflict with them, so the two of them weren't overly nervous. They just thought that there would be more and more of this kind of thing in the future, and they felt annoyed. It was too troublesome. This harassment was endless. "You're here for the Mahogany Order again, right? Go back and tell your captain that we don't have time to mess with you. Don't mess with us." Lin Ge pointed at a short, strange-looking person on the main ship and said, "If you don't want to cause trouble, then get out of the way now." This short and strange-looking fellow was Bath himself. Perhaps he was the leader with the least temperament in this sea region. His brandy nose and unkempt hair made him look like a sailor who drank too much. He did not give off the domineering feeling of an awe-inspiring person. It was normal that Lin Ge couldn't tell that he was the captain. However, the person beside Bath wasn't willing. He pointed at Bath and said, "This is our Captain Bath. Can't you see with your eyes? Our captain will come to the deck to see you in person. You should feel that you have unlimited honor and glory. This honor and glory will make you proud. Don't talk nonsense. Get to the point." Lin Ge smiled helplessly. This was the captain. He really couldn't tell. There was probably no one on this ship who was more unsuitable to be a leader than him. He didn't have the temperament of a leader at all. How could such a person be a captain? This pirate crew was probably just a bunch of small fries that didn't make the cut. However, Su Yun didn't think so. Seeing that he didn't even have the temperament of a leader, he was still able to become a captain, and there were hundreds of people who would listen to his orders. This was definitely not something an ordinary person could do. Perhaps they hadn't noticed this guy's outstanding qualities, but one thing was certain, he was definitely not a simple person. I like your straightforwardness. I like your straightforwardness. Then, I'll get straight to the point. Bath didn't turn hostile because of Lin Ge's provocative tone. He spoke as if he was narrating something. You entered my sphere of influence, so I came to see you. I came to see you because I admire you. I hope that our meeting is a kind of fate. If the two of you can join hands with me to create glory, I am willing to call you brothers. If you can't join hands with me to create glory, then I won't hold back. Brothers. Su Yun was speechless. This guy was really too much. He just said that you were willing, but he didn't ask us if we were willing. Lin Gu looked at Su Yun with a bitter smile. The person he met today was really strange. Brother, what should we do? He has already said good words, given us face, and threatened us. It really puts me in a dilemma. But I don't want to call him brother. Su Yun said. Brother, with your words, then I won't be in a difficult position at all. Lin Gu said. He turned around and pointed at Bath. Shorty, did you hear what my brother said just now? I don't want to call you brother, so give up on your idea. Take your people and scram now. We don't have time to waste with you. He didn't have the patience of Cho Hang and Naka at all. He sneered, then I'll let you know why the head on my head is 10 million more expensive than yours, which is worth 30 million. Naka sneered, then I'll let you know why the head on my head is 10 million more expensive than your 30 million head. Aya, he's still a tough guy. Su Yun didn't care so much. Talking nonsense with these people was just wasting his time. To catch bandits, first catch the leader. As long as the people on the main ship were crippled, the other small fries would be scattered like sand. Su Yun and Lin Gu both rushed to the other party's main ship at the same time. This way, they could prevent a lot of sneak attacks. After all, the other party's Captain Bath and a group of core leaders were on the deck of the main ship. The sailors on the other boats didn't dare to shoot randomly. Bath never thought that there would be someone more direct than him. He had just declared war, and the other party had already rushed up. Did this Red Guagua's provocation not put him in his eyes at all? Didn't the other party hear him say that the head on his head was 10 million more expensive than his? Perhaps it was because of this sentence that Su Yun wanted to prove to him that the value of the head on his neck couldn't be determined. In the end, who was worth more and who wasn't, it would be clear after a fight. When Su Yun and Lin Gu broke into the main ship of the Bath pirates, not only were dozens of strong sailors rushing towards them with swords, but the people on the ship also immediately joined the battle. In the moment of the fight, Su Yun and Lin Gu realized that the strength of the Bath pirates was really stronger than the ones they had encountered before. They could no longer be described as weak. With their strong personal strength, Su Yun and Lin Gu still had a slight upper hand. Although the people on the Bath pirate side were all battle-hardened, their strength was limited after all. It was not easy for them to withstand 3 moves in front of Su Yun. Bath quickly realized why the heads of the 2 people in front of him were worth so much money. Their strength was not to be underestimated. Bath didn't hesitate and directly joined the battle. It was not easy for him to make a name for himself in this sea. He didn't know when, but there was an iron hook in Bath's hand. Of course, this was not the kind of pirate hook that was installed after the hand was cut off, but a special weapon. This was the weapon that allowed Bath to gain a foothold in this sea. Even the real holder of the Mahogany Order, Yi Yuan, had almost lost to Bath's iron hook. At that time, if it wasn't for the deterrence of this iron hook, Bath might not have been able to escape Yi Yuan's coercion. That was the first confrontation between Bath and the holder of the Mahogany Order, and it ended with his escape. This time, he faced the holder of the Mahogany Order again, but he had no intention of retreating. This time, he had more people, and this time, he was more confident. Even if he couldn't win, he could escape from the holder of the Mahogany Order once, and he could escape from the holder of the Mahogany Order a second time. The surge of confidence made Bath rush to Su Yun without hesitation, and the iron hook in his hand also directly attacked the back of Su Yun's head. As long as Su Yun was careless, he could directly use his strange iron hook to directly hook a big hole in Su Yun's throat. When Su Yun saw the strange weapon in Bath's hand, he knew that he had to be careful. In the world, whether it was Southern Fist, Northern Kick, boxing, or Sonda, as long as there was a move and momentum, one could break it. And this strange hook weapon was definitely not the hook in the axe, hook, or fork. Su Yun couldn't figure out Bath's moves at all. Of course, he didn't dare to be careless. If the other party really had a move that he couldn't figure out, it would be enough to make him cry for a while. When Bath saw that Su Yun was apprehensive, he wielded the weapon in his hand even more fiercely. He clearly remembered that when he fought Yuan was very apprehensive of his move because his weapon was too strange. Now, it seemed that Su Yun was also apprehensive of Bath's move. Therefore, Bath attacked Su Yun even more unscrupulously. In addition, Bath's second-in-command on the ship was already entangled with Su Yun, so Su Yun had no choice but to continuously retreat. For a moment, it seemed that Bath's addition instantly put Su Yun at a disadvantage. Due to Su Yun's retreat, Lin Gu was unable to obtain sufficient support. He quickly fell into the encirclement of the Bath pirates. From the looks of it, his situation was even more precarious. Bath was very satisfied with his influence. Since Su Yun didn't agree to work under him, he would rather destroy him than let him join forces with others. If he couldn't have it, he definitely couldn't let a stronger opponent get it. If that happened, his dream of dominating the Pacific Ocean would be even more distant. The Bath pirate crew's overwhelming advantage instantly turned into nothing. Everything had to start anew. This time, everyone's standpoint had changed. The iron hook in Bath's hand was still powerful, but the people who feared it were no longer Su Yun, but Bath's own subordinates. There were two corpses on the ground. One was a sailing swordsman whose throat had been hooked by Bath's iron hook, while the other was a sailing swordsman whose heart and lungs had been pierced by Bath's hook. These two were usually powerful members of the Bath pirate crew. Now, they had been crippled by Bath. Dying at the hands of one's own men always gave people a terrifying psychological pressure. Although everyone saw that these two people had died so miserably because they were pulled over by Su Yun as shields, it was the iron hook in Bath's hand that caused their deaths. Stay away. Stay away from Su Yun. The further away they were from him, the safer their lives would be. That was what everyone on the Bath pirate crew was thinking. Their thinking could allow Su Yun and Lin Gu to fight in a very relaxed environment. Bath was a little angry. He gloomily looked at his subordinates who were constantly retreating. Scared? Are you? You're already scared after two people died. You've been pirates with me for so many years. You should know what pirates do. If you don't even have this little bit of courage, then you don't deserve to stay on my ship. Bath angrily rebuked. The entire ship was silent. Don't force them. Everyone has their own ambitions. Since you, the captain, don't think that they're suitable to be pirates, then let them go. The sooner they leave, the sooner we get this over with. Out of sight, out of mind, Lin Gu said, fanning the flames. Su Yun knew that they had won this psychological battle. They had won very easily. If Bath's men weren't afraid of death, then he and Lin Gu might not be able to withstand the siege of so many people. In addition, Bath had such a strange weapon. Once the other party had the spirit of victory and no regrets, then the ones who would die today would definitely be him and Lin Gu. It was still the same sentence. Pirates were pirates after all. They were in this industry to survive, so no one wanted to throw away their lives for no reason. Even after Bath said those words, no one dared to take the lead to surround Su Yun and Lin Gu. They were all waiting for an opportunity. If Bath dared to take the lead, then perhaps they would dare to fight. If Bath didn't dare to personally take action, then there was no need for them to be on tenterhooks and seek death. If they didn't die in the hands of the enemy, then they wouldn't even have a title if they died under their captain's iron hook. If they died, then they would only have the crime of blocking Captain Bath's fatal blow. It wouldn't be good for them to exert their strength. No, it should be said that it wouldn't be good for them to put their lives on the line. Whoever was willing to do such a thing would be a fool. With every step Su Yun took forward, Bath's men would take a step back. Bath's psychological pressure also became heavier. Bath, who had always thought that victory was within his grasp, suddenly realized that he would be afraid of Su Yun even before he truly exchanged blows with him. Why was it like this? His heart had always been very strong, but it was different this time. He was actually afraid this time. That's right, the fear that came from the depths of his heart couldn't be expressed with words, but it truly existed in the depths of his heart. In the instant that Su Yun struck, Bath even forgot that he had the advantage of having so many people. He unconsciously raised his iron hook and clashed with Su Yun. When Su Yun wasn't harassed by those clingy people around him, his swift and violent punches caused Bath to lose his sense of direction. After parrying 2 blows, Bath was no longer able to judge Su Yun's shooting arrow-like kick. He was ruthlessly struck in the abdomen and retreated a few meters. After the captain quickly fell into a disadvantageous position, the morale of the others plummeted. Due to the iron hook in Bath's hand, no one dared to step forward to help. After Bath realized that Su Yun intended for his men to isolate him, he hurriedly shouted, "Take down Su Yun's head. All the bounty I get will belong to him." Under the temptation of 30 million, countless reckless fellows once again pounced forward. For the sake of money, there would always be people who were willing to give up their lives. However, Su Yun didn't hold back and grabbed another person as a shield. Although Bath didn't use his iron hook again, Su Yun still pressed that person's head onto Bath's iron hook. The iron hook in Bath's hand directly penetrated that person's head. In a moment of desperation, Bath quickly withdrew his hand. However, he didn't expect to use too much strength. Furthermore, this iron hook had undergone special treatment, and actually hooked that person's head off. If this was on a normal day, pirates who had seen blood wouldn't feel nauseous and disgusted. However, it was different now. This was because Bath's hook didn't kill his opponent, but his own people. When anyone made an exchange of identities in their hearts and imagined that they were the companions whose heads were hooked off, they couldn't help but feel waves of nausea. Thinking that the brain matter and blood was their own, no one could stand it. Su Yun's decisive and ruthless move had completely shattered the unity of Bath's pirate crew. In an instant, Bath had become an isolated and helpless clown. Chapter 16-19. In the face of Su Yun's sudden attack, Bath only had the power to resist. While he was distracted, Su Yun pinned the acupuncture point on his right hand and the strange iron hook in his hand fell to the ground. At the same time, Lin Ge had been guarding Su Yun's back, fearing that someone would suddenly attack. Now that Bath had completely fallen into a disadvantageous position, his people should have chosen to give up, right? To catch bandits, first catch the leader, especially this kind of loose sand that was easy to disperse, it was the easiest to control. Therefore, the victory or defeat of the Bath pirates basically depended on Bath's victory or defeat. But something unexpected still happened. When the iron hook in Bath's hand fell, someone immediately stepped forward, because the danger they feared most was eliminated by Su Yun. This was really beyond the expectations of Su Yun and Lin Ge. Fortunately, Lin Ge did not relax his vigilance and quickly stopped the guy who wanted to sneak attack Su Yun from behind. One person's action quickly led to more people's actions. The stagnant dispute was once again stimulated. The pirates surrounded Su Yun and Lin Ge crazily. At this time, Bath realized that he was really stupid. If he had thrown away the iron hook earlier, maybe he would not have fallen into such a desperate situation. Although Su Yun and Lin Ge were besieged by his people, he had been completely defeated by Su Yun. Su Yun's strength was far beyond his expectations. After he threw away his weapon, Su Yun used a muscle-dislocating bone hand to cripple his right arm. Immediately afterward, Su Yun kicked Bath's left knee. He didn't know what acupuncture point he kicked, but Bath directly knelt on one knee. At the same time, Su Yun lifted Bath's right arm that had been dislocated and lifted Bath's chin. Then his right knee hit Bath's back. Bath's throat was strangled by his right arm, and Bath was completely subdued to the ground. "All of you, stop right there. Otherwise, I will break his neck right now," Su Yun shouted. When the pirates on the ship saw Bath being subdued, their limbs instantly went soft. What should they do? They all looked at each other, not knowing what to do next. Bath also knew that if he didn't listen to Su Yun only needed to exert a little force on his hands or knees and he would either die or be heavily injured. He used the loudest voice he could muster and roared, "Everyone stop!" At this moment, Bath was certain that this young man was stronger than Yuan. But why was his bounty only 30 million? This was not the strength that a person with a 30 million bounty on his head should have. His bounty should be higher because he was harder to deal with. Bath took a deep breath. He was not convinced. Why is your bounty only 30 million, but you? Don't tell me this meaningless nonsense. Su Yun said, I don't have the time to care about the ranks of your bullshit bounties. I just want to tell you that you must provoke me today. Also, I'm not in a good mood these days. You can only blame yourself for being unlucky. You are the holders of the Mahogany Order. Even if I didn't provoke you, you would still provoke me, Bath said. Su Yun told him seriously, the Mahogany Order doesn't mean what you think it means to me. I have the Mahogany Order, but I am not Principal Guzman. I have my own matters to attend to here. Since you pirates have repeatedly provoked me, I'll teach you a lesson. Su Yun had an idea. He would directly kill Bath and break up his pirate group. He would also tell his subordinates that he was not here to fight pirates, but to do his own thing. If the pirates did not want to die, they should not provoke him. This way, Bath's subordinates would run to other places to join and spread the news. This way, he could prevent a considerable amount of trouble. I didn't come here to go against you pirates. If you didn't provoke me, I wouldn't have the time to play with you, Su Yun said. But now that you've provoked me, I will make you regret it. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Su Yun and Bath. They did not know what to do and could only wait for the captain's orders. Captain Bath's face was flushed red, and he couldn't say a word. Su Yun's hands and knees continued to exert more force, and this force made it difficult for Bath to breathe. Soon, Bath's eyes became bloodshot. He wanted to say something, but his throat, which was wrapped around by his own arms, was tightly strangled by a python. Not even a breath of air could enter the room, let alone speak. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. Su Yun's voice was full of penetrating power. If people offend me, I will kill them. The moment his voice fell, the powerful pressure caused the calm sea to churn with new waves. There were so many people present, but it was so quiet that they could only hear the sound of the sea water and the circling seagulls. Everything else was so quiet that even the sound of breathing could not be heard. Of course, when others stopped breathing, it was because they were afraid, but Bath stopped breathing because he could no longer breathe. He was strangled to death by his own arms. Su Yun released Bath's arms, and Bath's body fell to the ground with a thud. Seeing Bath's head fall heavily onto the deck, creating a series of echoes, no one had expected that Su Yun would actually sentence Bath to a death sentence while speaking. Bath's death was so unreconciled. His body and mind were under great pressure at the last moment, and this great pressure almost made him collapse. It could be said that Bath's death was not only because of Su Yun's restraint that made him unable to breathe, but also because Bath's heart had been severely damaged. He realized that his dream of becoming a hegemon was destined to be a fantasy. He could not even deal with two people, so how could he talk about the entire Pacific Ocean? This disappointment, coupled with the deterrence of Su Yun's pressure, and of course, the most important thing was that he could no longer breathe. Just like that, Bath's sinful journey in the Pacific Ocean ended. His death announced the destruction of one of the top 3 pirate groups in the sea. No one in the Bath pirate crew had ever thought that their Captain Bath would end up like this. They had imagined that their Captain Bath would die in a fierce battle with the White Whale Gang. They had also imagined that their Captain Bath would die in a fierce battle with the sharks. But they never expected that Captain Bath would die in the hands of a person. If you want to die, stay and continue. Su Yun's words entered everyone's ears. That pressure, which was like that of a divine soldier, made everyone present muddle-headed. No one dared to act rashly. Even Captain Bath had died without being able to resist. Who would dare to challenge this person? Apart from the people on the main ship who did not dare to move before Su Yun left, the people on the other ships quickly fled the scene. They knew that with their boss dead, this place was equivalent to dispersing. If you don't want to die, get out of here quickly. Remember, don't provoke me in the future. Su Yun coldly left these words and returned to his own small yacht with Lin Gu. He had Lin Gu speed up and leave quickly. Seeing the small yacht disappear, the main ship of the Bath pirate group started to become chaotic again. Since they were going to go their separate ways, who wouldn't want to snatch some good stuff? Captain Bath's head was valuable, but it was not as valuable as Captain Bath's little treasury. After the group of bandits lost their leader, it caused chaos. Their own people started to stab each other in the back. They were all very realistic. They had to divide more of Bath's wealth. If they wanted to join the White Whale Gang and the Shark Gang, they had to show enough sincerity. Money was especially important to them. The destruction of this large-scale pirate group in the Pacific Ocean had a much greater impact than the destruction of Camel's small pirate group. This was Su Yun's third day in this sea region. In just 3 days, he had caused enough of a commotion. And every incident related to him was enough to make the headlines. In the words of the ancient magpie world, this kid was really too restless. He was even more restless than his father. The more restless he was, the bigger the world. The bigger the world, the more powerful he was. If he didn't cause trouble, he would have lived his life in vain. Chapter 1620. Tang Yiping was truly impressed. He had spent so many years in this place to earn his reputation, but it had been achieved by a young man in just 3 days. The news of the Bath pirate crew being destroyed and the new bounty was on the ancient magpie world's desk. The ancient magpie world had called them here to take a look at this matter. Yi Shuai was the only female instructor in the Hunter Academy. She first picked up the bounty on Gu Magpie's desk. 60 million. In just 3 days, his value had doubled. It was so exaggerated that it was hard to accept. This was too much. He had surpassed so many of them in just a short time. This kid was amazing. Hey, I heard that Lone Wolf and Crocodile made a bet? Yi Shuai smiled. What's the bet? Lone Wolf, can you tell us? I'm willing to accept my loss. You don't have to worry about what the bet is. Tang Yipeng shook his head helplessly. This loss was really inconceivable, but he accepted it wholeheartedly. He had nothing to say, really nothing to say. He knew that he had really underestimated others, and he deserved to be punished. In fact, there was no news at all 2 days ago. Yi Yuan was prepared to lose the bet, so Su Yun's sudden appearance was a huge surprise. No, it was more accurate to say that it was a shock. Unbelievable, really unbelievable. Shock lingered in the hearts of the instructors. Gu Magpie's face was filled with relief. He seemed to be very satisfied with the answer. The answer was also beyond his expectations. Gu Magpie was sure that Su Yun would use something to increase his value, but he did not expect that the sacrifice would be the Bath pirates, who had recently caught his attention. Bath was not an easy person to deal with. Yi Yuan, who had fought him before, had the most right to say this. Even now, Yi Yuan did not feel confident that he could take down Bath again. It was even more impossible for him to kill all the Bath pirates in Bath's territory and destroy the entire Bath pirates. This kid's limit did not stop here. Yi Yuan shrugged. I didn't expect him to use Bath as an example. You didn't expect it? Tang Yiping pursed his lips and said, "AI, poor old wolf, I'm so unlucky to have fallen into your crafty scheme. Wait, I'm not the one who wants to bet with you." Yi Yuan laughed and said, "You were the one who insisted on sending yourself to the door. The principal and I both said that his value would double in 3 days. You were the one who didn't believe us. Who can you blame? Since you're willing to bet, you must accept your loss. You'll be leading the team to the extreme experience this time. Thank you, Brother Wolf. When you come back, I will treat you to the freshest sashimi. Isn't that enough?" "Enough. You're too much." Tang Yiping smiled bitterly. He had lost the bet. Who asked him to be unlucky? Conger Eel, are you interested in this kid as well? Dongfang Fan looked at Yi Shui and said indifferently, "You said that among the men you have seen, no one can do something that you find unbelievable, so you don't want to find a boyfriend. What about this one? Did I do something you can't believe?" Dongfang Fan's joke made Yi Shui blush. She glared at Dongfang Fan and said, "Don't make fun of me. I don't have the habit of eating young grass." Even Gu Magpie couldn't help but laugh. "You guys like to make fun of Conger Eel. She's already 29 this year. You guys are all older brothers. You should worry about her." "Principal, they're not reliable. Why are you fooling around with them?" Yi Shui smiled bitterly and said, "Let me tell you, if anyone makes fun of me again, I'll curse him to choke to death on his food at night. Women only have a few years of youth. You've already wasted it. If you don't grab hold of the little tail of youth, you'll really be old in the future." Tang Yiping also joined in the mocking. "It's a pity that your brothers don't have the charm for you to appreciate. Otherwise, you would have been taken in long ago. Now that there's a little fresh meat with so much potential, you should be tempted, right?" "Tempted your sister?" Yi Shui snorted and glared at Tang Yiping. "You damn wolf, be careful not to choke on your food at night." Tang Yiping wasn't afraid of the curse. He continued to laugh and said, "Yes, yes. If you touch my sister, you'll be my sister." "You?" Yi Shui glared. "All right, stop fooling around. If you continue, she might really fall out with you," Gu Magpie said. "Outsiders have given our Yi Shui the title of Conger Eel. Think about it. How powerful is she in their eyes? You still dare to provoke her?" "Principal, they bully me every day. You have an unshirkable responsibility. It's all your fault for indulging them," Yi Shui said angrily. "If anyone makes fun of me again, just give them the sole of your shoe. Let's see who dares to bully me again." "Yes, yes. I'll listen to you." Gu Magpie didn't have any children. He had always treated Yi Shui as his daughter. Although Yi Shui had a fiery temper sometimes, she was normal most of the time. Tang Yiping still didn't know what was good for him and went forward. "Principal, I know you love Conger Eel and treat her like your own daughter. We've always treated her like our own sister. Don't you have the same thoughts as us? You should get a live-in son-in-law, right? Ha ha ha. Lone wolf. I'll kill you." Yi Shui jumped up. Tang Yiping got up and ran away. "I still have things to do. I'll leave first." Gu Magpie smiled. "Live-in son-in-law? Ha ha. He didn't have the ability to get such a live-in son-in-law. This kid's limit isn't just limited. During this period of time, I believe that he must have been forced into a corner by those despicable bandits at sea. Principal, I don't deny that this kid is very powerful. But the bigger the commotion he makes, the more dangerous it is for him." Dongfang Fan said, "Shouldn't we do something as well?" Gu Magpie nodded. "Yes, we should." Dongfang Fan nodded. He knew what to do. "Principal, it's hard for us to find the Shadow Clan member they're looking for." Yi Yuan had been secretly helping Su Yun with this problem for the past few days. "It's too difficult. It's really too difficult." Yi Yuan didn't understand one thing. Why was Gu Magpie more enthusiastic about Su Yun's matter than him? It was just that he didn't say it out loud. But today, he couldn't help but say, "Principal, this is actually my personal matter. Now I've caused trouble for you and everyone else. I'm embarrassed." "Principal likes talented people," Yi Shui said. "It's not like you don't know. What's there to be embarrassed about? I just think it's quite troublesome for Principal." Yi Yuan said. Gu Magpie took a deep breath. "There are some things I didn't want to say, but I don't want you to feel pressured today. I want to help him because I owe him a favor from the Su family. It's that simple." Everyone looked at Gu Magpie in confusion. How could he owe Su Yun? If you know who this kid's father is, you won't be surprised by his actions. Gu Magpie smiled. His father is called Su Chen. Su Chen, this legendary man. Everyone's mouth fell open. Dongfang Fan's eyes almost popped out. This kid was actually the son of that legendary man. No wonder he was so bold. Like father, like son. No wonder you admire him so much. Yi Shui also shook her head in amazement. This kid has such a big background. I really didn't expect it. Chapter 16:21. Tang Yiping, who had already left, turned back at this time. After hearing Yi Shui's sigh, he said, "How is it? Do you feel a lot more tempted now? He is the descendant of a famous family. Sister, if you can get him, I will definitely give you a big red packet thicker than a brick." Vulgar. Who gives cash as a gift nowadays? Yi Yuan said disdainfully, "Just give me a card and save as much money as you want. A brick is only as thick as 30,000 yuan. You two won't make me angry, will you?" Yi Shui's reaction was not as strong as before. The title of Su Chen's son made her not have much energy to bicker with the two people. Her curiosity about Su Yun was getting stronger and stronger. Of course, this did not mean that she had the heart to eat young grass. It was just pure curiosity. Gu Magpie Jie rubbed his temples. There are so many people here who need to be trained. I'm sure you all understand what I'm trying to say. Principal, I lost the bet. Don't I have to lead the team to experience extreme life? Tang Yiping said. Let's put this matter aside for a while. Ancient Magpie World said, "Zhui Ming, you've always known my thoughts, just tell them." After that, Gu Magpie got up and prepared to use the watering can to clean up the beautiful flowers and plants. Principal, I will help you water the flowers. Yi Shui stepped forward to help. Don't. I know how much water to water these flowers and plants. You'll mess it up if you do. Gu Magpie said, although these are flowers and plants, they are like people. If they are not carefully taken care of, they will wilt easily. These are all precious. I won't let you mess with them. Yi Shui stuck out her tongue. It was not an expensive plant. Only the principal would treat it as a treasure. Of course, she would not say that out loud. Since the principal said so, then I roughly understand the principal's meaning. Dongfang Fan said, "The principal asked us to come here because he knows that they are too rigid in their principles. We may be more flexible than them, so the principal hopes that we can help Su Yun in this matter. But as for how to help him, it all depends on us." He paused for a moment. Dongfang Fan said, "Principal, I'm not wrong to say that, right?" Gu Magpie Jie nodded while watering the flowers. It's good. I'll leave it to you. Principal, you're so magnanimous. Tang Yiping gave him a thumbs up. This kid has caused so much trouble that even you might not be able to handle it. Do you really trust us to help him solve it? The headmaster didn't ask us to solve it for him. He only asked us to provide him with some help when the time is right. Dongfang Fan understood the meaning of the ancient Magpie World. If a man needed someone to help him solve every problem, then how could he hope to be successful? It's really hard to talk to you guys. Tang Yiping said, All right. I know you're going to tell me again that talking is an art. Zhui Ming, let's put it this way. This brat will catch up to the value of my head in 3 days. What do you think I can do to help him? Maybe in 3 days, his head will be worth more than yours. Then, do you think we should help him or make trouble for him? Indeed, that was a head worth 60 million. And Lin Gu, who was beside Su Yun, was worth 40 million. The combined value of these two people was over 100 million. Since they were already like this, why would they need help from others? Sigh, Lone Wolf, aren't you a little envious? His value has soared in such a short period of time. Aren't you feeling unbalanced? Yi Yuan said, I asked you to help, so just help. Why do you have so much nonsense to say? Tang Yiping said proudly, his little follower's value is about to surpass yours. Ha ha ha, I think you're the one feeling unbalanced. Alright, you two stop teasing each other. Yi Shui glared at Tang Yiping. Is there any meaning to this random bounty? We haven't even met him yet. No one can say for sure how strong he is. Is he just lucky? Or is his strength far superior to ours? These are all things that we can't be sure of. I think Zhue Ming's words make sense. We can give him some help. Of course, that's under the premise that he needs it. If he doesn't need it, we don't need to intervene in this matter. Yes. That's right. That's what I mean. Dongfeng Fan said. Principal, you mean the same, right? Aha. The ancient magpie world seemed to be focused on the flowers and plants. They didn't care about how they dealt with this problem. Yes, he was already old. There were some things that he shouldn't ask too much about. Otherwise, when he really couldn't do anything about it, who would they go to then? Learning to deal with things by himself was something he had to do sooner or later. Especially for Dongfeng Fan. The ancient magpie world had high expectations, so he didn't want him to disappoint him. Principal's meaning is very clear. Dongfeng Fan said. You just have to listen to me in the future. Put aside whatever you're doing for the time being and be on standby at any time. Understood. Tang Yiping nodded. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Yi Shui nodded. Contact me if there's anything. After they left, Yi Yuan said, I've been sending people to keep an eye on their movements. I think they're all experienced people. Their proficiency in dealing with trouble is no less than ours. So you're saying, even if we don't do anything, they'll be fine? Dongfeng Fan was startled. Yes. Yi Yuan nodded. We just need to observe in secret. That's right. The ancient magpie world watered the flowers. My main idea is to let them deal with it themselves. However, the people of the sea are sinister. Whether it's the White Whale Society or the sharks, they're not to be trifled with. After a pause, the ancient magpie world continued. Although Bath's forces are constantly growing and seem to have the strength to contend with the two major societies, in reality, that's not the case. If you're smart enough, I'm sure you've already seen it. The two of them stared at the ancient magpie world, hoping to hear more advice. Bath's strength is great, but he may not be as strong as the lieutenants of the two major societies, the ancient magpie world said. Take note, I'm talking about ability, not strength. Sometimes, strength doesn't represent a person's ability. That's why Su Yun was able to take down the base pirates so easily. Perhaps it wasn't as difficult as we thought. Perhaps if the two of you were forced into a corner like Su Yun, you might be able to wipe out the enemy's fleet with just the two of you. The two of them didn't speak. They were both thinking about the meaning behind the ancient magpie world's words. If they only encounter people like Bath, there's no need for you to intervene. The ancient magpie world said. But if it's Qiu Hang, I think you should intervene. Qiu Hang has a very high EQ and is very persuasive. It's not that I don't believe in Su Yun and Lin Ji's self-control, but I'm worried about Qiu Hang's high EQ. After a pause, the ancient magpie world pointed at his heart. People who know how to attack people's hearts are the most terrifying opponents. It just so happens that this region of the sea has such opponents who know how to attack people's hearts. This is the problem you need to worry about the most. Headmaster, we understand. Dongfeng Fan nodded. I didn't say it before because I thought it would only add to Yi Shui's worries. The ancient magpie world said. And Lone Wolf will think I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. It's better not to let them hear it and just let the two of you know. Zhue Ming, I can rest assured with you around. Yes, Headmaster, I will not disappoint you. Dongfeng Fan said seriously. The ancient magpie world shook his head and said nothing more. Chapter 16:22. Su Yun and Lin Ge felt like their heads were about to explode when they saw their latest bounties. They didn't feel any joy. This thing couldn't be eaten as a meal. For people who spent years in this place, this bounty seemed to be related to their face. It was very important. But for Su Yun and Lin Ge, it was nothing. It was just a piece of trouble. Moreover, the higher the price on the wanted poster, the more trouble they would be in. They didn't come here to help the Pacific Ocean Police or Headmaster Gu of the Hunter School eliminate thieves. They came here to find people and find a place. They didn't have the time to waste here. Therefore, this was definitely not a good thing for Su Yun. If he had known that the consequences of getting rid of Bath would be so big, he definitely wouldn't have played like this. It wouldn't be good for him at all. Yes, the residents of this sea area who had been bullied by Bath had the respect, reverence, and admiration for Su Yun and Lin Gu. They couldn't wait to bow to Su Yun to express their gratitude to Su Yun. However, this gratitude couldn't be eaten as a meal. It could only make people smile in relief. What would happen next, what would happen, and what should happen would happen. Moreover, the continuous schemes and traps made Su Yun a little angry. When the forest was big, there were all kinds of birds. When the sea was big, there were all kinds of fish. There would always be a few reckless people who tried to pull down Su Yun and Lin Gu. The two heads added up to a bounty of $100 million. Who wouldn't be tempted by this value? Many people had the mentality of stop after doing one job, and directly targeted them. This also made Su Yun tired of dealing with these matters in the next few days. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion. This life really lived up to the saying, the king of hell is easy to see, but the little devils are hard to deal with. During these days, Cho Hang of the Beluga Gang and Naka of the Sharks Gang didn't make any movements. It was as if everything had nothing to do with them. As for the messy small forces, they recklessly charged forward, resulting in countless casualties. Su Yun, who was tired of dealing with these messy matters, really didn't have the energy to draw a map of the sea area in his heart. Su Yun was not a navigator, and drawing a nautical chart was very taxing, but in order to find the damn Matty Franz Island, Su Yun could only bite the bullet and figure out how to study this thing. Therefore, these continuous troubles gave Su Yun a headache. There was no end to the harassment, so how could he stay calm and do things well? It was at this moment that Cho Hang of the Beluga clan finally made his move. However, his actions were different from the others. The others were here to cause trouble for Su Yun. However, he made an unusual reaction. He didn't come here to harass Su Yun, but to help her instead. This was something that no one could understand. This was the first time Su Yun and the Beluga clan had met, and this meeting really made Su Yun feel that the Beluga clan was different from others. And this was precisely what the ancient magpie world was worried about. If they didn't use force to resist, but used other methods instead, this kind of person was the most terrifying. Facing a wave of pirate gangs who used sparrow warfare tactics, Su Yun and Lin Gu were indeed a little tired of dealing with them. It was endless, and no one could stand this kind of thing. The reason why the other party did this was precisely because Su Yun and the others were few in number. There were only two of them, and if this harassment continued for a long time, they would definitely be tired out. When fatigue completely overwhelmed them, it would be a sign of defeat. Therefore, this group of people harassed them in twos and threes, and didn't stop during the day or night. This really pissed off Su Yun a little. In order to completely solve this problem, Su Yun and Lin Gu found an uninhabited island, landed on it, and waited. If one came, they would deal with one, and if two came, they would cripple a pair. They wanted to see how daring these people were, and whether they dared to continue like this. For 4 consecutive days, the other party showed no signs of stopping. These troublesome brats gave Su Yun and the others a headache. Lin Gu went from being passionate at the beginning to not having any temper at all. It was all thanks to these brats that kept harassing him. On the 4th day, Lin Gu felt as if he came to the Pacific Ocean to deal with these brats. "Brother, if this doesn't stop, what should we do?" Lin Gu smiled bitterly. "I didn't expect the customs of this place to be so tough. There's no end to it." "Yeah. Even if we can deal with this wave of people sooner or later, there will be a second wave and a third wave." Su Yun also didn't think of a way to solve this problem. Treating the symptoms doesn't solve the root cause. We can't always spend our days dealing with these problems. Lin Gu had a headache. There are only 2 of us. If there were more people, this wouldn't be a problem at all. Who said otherwise? If there were a group of people, these people wouldn't use this sparrow tactic endlessly. But now, where could Su Yun find a group of people to help? All he could do now was endure and endure. If he couldn't endure it, it would be tantamount to failure. After Su Yun and Lin Gu prepared themselves to endure it, there was suddenly no one who came to disturb them that night. Even so, they still didn't have a good rest. They didn't dare to sleep. Who knew what kind of trouble would come once they fell asleep? Just like that, the night passed. When they woke up the next day, Su Yun and Lin Gu were even more tired than they were a few days ago. This logic was very simple. Don't be afraid of thieves stealing, be afraid of thieves thinking about you. There was a joke. One day, in the middle of the night, a person fell asleep in bed. Suddenly, he heard someone throw a shoe heavily on the roof, waking him up from his sleep. Thus, he quietly waited for the second shoe to land on the ground before going to sleep. Unexpectedly, after waiting for a long time, the sound of the second shoe didn't come for a long time. That person couldn't sleep no matter what. Thus, he angrily ran upstairs to question his neighbor. Why didn't you throw the second shoe? Right now, Su Yun and Lin Ji's state was somewhat like two people waiting for the second shoe to land. For the past few days, they had been causing trouble for them non-stop. Today, there was suddenly no movement. They weren't used to it. Obviously, these pirates weren't the neighbors upstairs. There must be a reason why they didn't come to disturb them. Su Yun and Lin Gu also urgently wanted an answer to this matter. What they didn't expect was that the answer would be delivered early in the morning. When the flag of the Baijing clan fluttered in the distant sea, Su Yun and Lin Gu both realized the problem. Very soon, Qiu Hang, the famous overlord of this region of the sea, appeared on this uninhabited island. The arrival of the White Whale Regiment seemed to have calmed the sea within a radius of 12 nautical miles. There was no noise, nor were there any disturbances from small fries. Without needing the other party to say anything, Su Yun understood why no one came to disturb them last night. From the looks of it, the peaceful night was a gift from the captain of the Baijing clan, Qiu Hang. How thoughtful of him. Mr. Su Yun, how do you do? Mo Tai was the first to step forward and express his friendliness to Su Yun and Lin Gu. We've taken the liberty to disturb you. I wonder if we've disturbed the two of you? Su Yun smiled slightly. As the saying went, one doesn't hit a smiling face. Seeing the other party's friendly attitude, he could only treat them in the same way. Of course not. You're very welcome. It's just that I wonder why you're here. Let's introduce you first. As Mo Tai spoke, he led Qiu Hang forward. This is Captain Qiu Hang of our Baijing clan. He admires you very much, Mr. Su Yun. That's why we took the liberty to pay you a visit. Su Yun accepted the visit calmly. Captain Qiu Hang, no matter what, I'd like to thank you for the gift. I've already accepted the gift, but I don't have anything in return. I wonder if Captain Qiu Hang would mind. Qiu Hang finally spoke. He didn't expect Su Yun's first words to be, thank you. Mr. Su Yun, I wonder where you're coming from? I didn't bring any gift. He, you're mocking me, aren't you? Chapter 1623. Su Yun smiled and didn't say anything. Qiu Hang's scheming was much better than those people from before. He just casually dealt with those small fries in the ocean. He often did this kind of thing. It was normal for conflicts to occur in the Pacific Ocean. However, Qiu Hang's choice of time and place to make a move, as well as who he was in front of, was very successful. At the very least, Su Yun's attitude towards him was much better than his attitude towards the others. Su Yun already had some feelings of sympathy towards Qiu Hang, who was also Chinese. Now, it seemed that he had more or less a good impression of Qiu Hang. Although Qiu Hang's move wasn't a timely help, it was an exaggeration to say that he had at least solved Su Yun and Lin Ji's urgent problem. For an outsider, or even an opponent, Qiu Hang's actions had undoubtedly let Su Yun and Lin Gu let down their guard. Captain Qiu, We just met and you've already dealt with all the trouble around me. Isn't this a great gift? Su Yun finally spoke. We Chinese are particular about reciprocity. If we don't follow such a simple rule, it would be a disgrace to our ancestors. A gentleman is a man of virtue. Being filial to one's younger brother is the foundation of benevolence. Filial piety, loyalty, propriety, justice, integrity, and shame. If you don't pay attention to this, how can you call yourself a Hua Xia citizen? Good, filial piety, loyalty, propriety, justice, integrity, and shame. Chiu Hang gave a thumbs up. He was very impressed with Su Yun's education. Mr. Su Yun's words are really better than 10 years of studying for a wandering Hua Xia citizen like me. Although I'm Chinese, I really don't know what the 8 virtues of life are. Today, I finally understood. Filial piety, loyalty, propriety, justice, integrity, and shame. Good. Well said. Hua Xia is a country of etiquette. Naturally, Chinese people pay attention to the 8 virtues of life. Since Su Yun wanted to be polite and return the favor, Chiu Hang naturally didn't mind doing Su Yun a favor. This wasn't a bad thing for him. Instead, it was his biggest advantage in becoming friends with Su Yun. Currently, there was probably no one in this sea region who was closer to Su Yun than him. Captain Chiu gave me such a big gift, but I really don't have anything to return, Su Yun said lightly. So, Captain Chiu is making things difficult for me. Mr. Su Yun, please don't feel troubled. If that's the case, then it would be my fault. Chiu Hang said, let me put it this way. Even if these people don't harass you, if I encounter them, I will still make sure they don't have a good ending. People of the same trade are enemies. I already have a conflict of interest with them, so fighting and killing is normal. Therefore, this can't be considered a meeting gift for Mr. Su Yun. It's just that I conveniently cleared my obstacles and unintentionally helped Mr. Su. Su Yun nodded. Alright, with Captain Chiu's words, I'm relieved. Since you cleared away your obstacles, then you don't have to worry about filial piety, loyalty, propriety, justice, integrity, and honor. There's no need to return the favor, right? Of course there's no need for that, Chiu Hang said. If that's the case, does Mr. Su feel much better? Much better? Aha, that's a lot better. Su Yun said, in that case, I'll have to bother you, Captain Chiu. Pigeon, let's go. Since Captain Chiu wants to come to this island, we'll make room for him. Take it as a return gift for Captain Chiu. We'll be even then. Chiu Hang was stunned. Su Yun was beating around the bush, and in the end, he came to the conclusion that he didn't owe him anything. If that was the case, then everything Chiu Hang did just now was in vain. What a good Su Yun. He set up a simple trap and Chiu Hang walked right into it. Chiu Hang fell for Su Yun's trap because he desperately wanted to build a good relationship with Su Yun. Otherwise, he wouldn't have fallen for it so easily. At this time, Chiu Hang didn't turn against Chiu Hang. Instead, his expression and smile made him admire Su Yun even more. He was brave and smart. If he could have such a person by his side, he wouldn't have to worry about not being able to become a hegemon. Mr. Su Yun, our captain came all the way here to find you. Don't you think it's a little rude to leave just like that? Mo Tai quietly stepped forward and blocked Su Yun's path. It's better to be clear about some things. Su Yun smiled and glanced at Mo Tai. Then, he turned back to look at Chiu Hang. Chiu Hang didn't say anything. Although Mo Tai's sudden action was a little rash, his recklessness allowed him to do things that were inconvenient for him to do. Simply put, Chiu Hang couldn't possibly fall out with Su Yun in front of him. Because he wanted to recruit him, once they fell out, the distance between them wouldn't be something that could be bridged with just a few words. Similarly, Su Yun couldn't fall out with Chiu Hang. He and Lin Guo were both physically and mentally exhausted. If they were to clash with the White Whale clan now, even if they could make the White Whale clan suffer, the two of them wouldn't be spared either. Many things had to be considered from multiple angles. Hence, Su Yun and Chiu Hang were in the same situation. It wasn't convenient for them to talk too much. Fortunately, Lin Gu wasn't a pushover either. When he saw Mo Tai step forward to stop them, he stepped forward without hesitation since Su Yun wasn't in a position to speak up. Haven't we made things clear? You're just doing what you're supposed to do and solving some of our problems. We're also doing what we're supposed to do and making space for you. Isn't this considered reciprocity? Sorry, I'm talking to Mr. Su Yun. Mo Tai didn't seem to care about Lin Ge's words. Although Lin Ge's value had also doubled, in their eyes, it was all because he was following Su Yun. What's with the fight? I'm talking to Captain Chiu. Lin Gu didn't hold back either. He didn't expect this guy to be so arrogant and look down on him. F***ck. What the F***ck? I'm the one who looks down on you. The two of them were at each other's throats. Neither of them was willing to back down. After all, Mo Tai felt that this was his home ground. Hence, he definitely couldn't lose to Lin Gu. You don't seem to be qualified to talk to our captain. Do you think you're qualified to talk to my brother? Look at yourself before you speak. Lin Gu retorted without hesitation. While the two of them were having a simple conversation, the smell of gunpowder at the scene became even more intense. Neither of them was willing to back down, causing the atmosphere to become tense. Even Su Yun and Chiu Hang didn't feel as relaxed and happy as they did at the beginning. At a time like this, it seemed that there was only one way to solve the problem. Whoever had the harder fist would be in the dominant position. However, once this line of fire was ignited, it would become uncontrollable. Chiu Hang knew very well what the result would be. What was the difference between what he did and what others did? If that was the case, so what if he could kill Su Yun? At most, he would have to sacrifice the lives of some of his brothers. Not only would he not be able to increase his own strength, but it would also be equivalent to causing a lose-lose situation. The one who would benefit in the end wouldn't be him. Chiu Hang wouldn't do such a stupid thing. This wasn't something a smart person like him would do. Doing things this way was the behavior of a boorish person. History had proven that no boorish person could achieve great things in the end. A boorish person would always be a boorish person. Chiu Hang definitely wouldn't tolerate being a boorish person who couldn't achieve anything. He looked down on that kind of person. Chapter 1624. Mo Tai, it's time for you to learn more about Hua Xia's culture. Chiu Hang smiled. As the saying goes, isn't it a joy to have friends from afar? As the host, I'm greatly disappointed by what you said just now in front of two guests. Mo Tai was stunned. Mo Tai was stunned. No matter what Chiu Hang's words meant, he would listen obediently and bear with it. Everything he had done just now was for Chiu Hang's sake. Now that he was asked to apologize for Chiu Hang's sake, he lowered his head to Su Yun and Lin Gu without any complaints or hesitation. I'm sorry, Mr. Su Yun, Mr. Lin Gu. I was too agitated just now. I hope the two of you won't take it to heart. I'm willing to apologize and ask for your forgiveness. Please forgive me. Tisk. TSK. TSK. That's pretty good. Lin Gu clicked his tongue. Bring a bramble and ask for forgiveness? Sure, that's very sincere. I didn't know that it was popular to bring a bramble and ask for forgiveness in the Pacific Ocean. You don't have brambles here, right? What are you going to use instead? It's popular to use belts to replace brambles in our area. Is it the same here? The aggressive Lin Gu did not make Mo Tai back down. Mo Tai pulled out the belt on his pants without any hesitation, raised it with both hands, and placed it directly in front of Lin Gu. Lin Gu was really stunned. He originally thought that Mo Tai was just expressing his sincerity. It was impossible for him to really bring a bramble and ask for forgiveness. He really didn't have to go that far. He didn't expect Mo Tai to be true to his words and really offer the belt on his waist to him with both hands. This time, it was Lin Ji's turn to be at a loss for words. Was he really going to give Mo Tai a few slaps with his belt? That was more or less too much. But if he did nothing, he would be throwing his own face. Fortunately, Su Yun stood up in time to help Lin Gur out of this situation. He took the belt from Emo Tai's hands. It looks pretty good. What kind of leather is it made of? It looks like it's made by hand. Did you make it yourself? With this interruption, Emo Tai didn't know what to do. He could only go along with Su Yun's words and say, "Yes, I made this using the toughest piece of skin from a giant lizard I caught. It's all handmade." "I like this kind of thing," Su Yun said and handed the belt to Lin Gu. "Help me put it away. Don't break it." Lin Gu was bewildered by Su Yun. Did he just take his belt away? We've been talking about reciprocity for a long time. I asked for a belt from you, so of course I have to return the favor. Su Yun thought for a while, then took off a moisture-proof diving watch from his wrist and handed it to Emo Tai. This watch was prepared by Yi Yuan. Although it wasn't cheap, it wasn't ridiculously expensive. If he exchanged it for a handmade belt made of pure lizard skin, the price would be about the same. Emo Tai looked at the watch that Su Yun handed over and didn't know whether he should accept it or not. He could only look at Chiu Hang with an inquiring gaze. "Don't look at your captain. This is a private matter between you and me," Su Yun said. "I didn't ask for this belt from him. I asked for it from you. If you don't accept this watch, I might really get angry." Although that was what he said, Su Yun really did ask for the belt from Emo Tai. However, Emo Tai still had to ask Chiu Hang. After seeing Chiu Hang nod silently, Emo Tai took the watch that Su Yun handed to him. Just now, the matter of bringing a bramble and asking for punishment had instantly turned into a gift exchange. Lin Ji's awkwardness had also disappeared. "Mr. Su Yun." Chiu Hang knew that if he didn't make his intentions clear, Su Yun would really leave. "Since you don't like to beat around the bush, I'll make my intentions clear. Is Captain Chiu not just passing by? Or is it a coincidence that you came to this island to rest for a while?" Su Yun smiled. "No matter what Captain Chiu's intentions are, I'm afraid it has nothing to do with me." "No." Chiu Hang didn't give Su Yun a chance to evade. "I'm here to see you." Su Yun replied, "Oh. Captain Chiu is the famous leader of the Beluga whale clan, and I'm just a passerby in the Pacific Ocean. We don't seem to have any connections, and it's impossible for us to have any." "Why is Captain Chiu looking for me?" "Mr. Su Yun, you and I are both smart people. I don't think I need to answer your question." Chiu Hang smiled. "We all know the answer." Su Yun's expression was full of admiration. This Chiu Hang was very careful with his words. "I admire your ability," Chiu Hang said bluntly. "I hope you can consider not continuing to be a passerby in the Pacific Ocean, but becoming the master of the Pacific Ocean." "Ha ha ha ha." Su Yun laughed loudly. "Captain Chiu, I'm not that ambitious. The Pacific Ocean belongs to the whole world. No one can be its master." Chiu Hang was silent for a while. "Yes, there wasn't in the past, but that doesn't mean there won't be in the future. Mr. Su Yun, please allow me to say something that you might mind. I've been sending people to investigate you for the past few days. I know that you're here to look for someone, and at the same time, to look for an island. I'm right? Su Yun was stunned. This Chiu Hang was really meticulous. Before coming into contact with him, he had already sent people to investigate him in secret. He was preparing to win every battle by knowing his enemy. "According to my speculation, the mahogany order in your hand shouldn't have been given to you by Headmaster Gu of the Hunter Academy," Chiu Hang said. "As for why you have it, I don't know, nor can I guess. But I'm sure that the trouble this thing brings you far outweighs the convenience it brings you. This point, whether you admit it or not, is undeniable." Su Yun laughed bitterly in his heart. Chiu Hang's words made sense. Yes, the mahogany order did bring him a lot of convenience, but at the same time, it also brought him a lot of trouble. If it weren't for the mahogany order, perhaps he wouldn't have to stand here and haggle with the captain of the Beluga whale clan. "That's right," Su Yun admitted generously. "But there's one thing. The convenience this token brings me is the convenience I need. Even if it brings me trouble, I still need the convenience it brings me. Cho Hung smiled. Yes, you do need these conveniences. But have you ever thought that even if you don't have the mahogany order, you can use other methods to obtain these conveniences and get rid of so much trouble? Su Yun and Lin Gu couldn't help but be startled. Perhaps there really was such a method, but they hadn't considered it from the start. I understand what Captain Chiu means, but I already have a choice, Su Yun said. I appreciate Captain Chiu's kindness. Even if there is already a choice, so what? Chiu Hung could tell that Su Yun was moved, so he struck while the iron was hot. This is just a multiple-choice question in life. As long as life isn't over, the answer can be changed at any time. Since you've made the wrong choice, why keep making the same mistake? Perhaps you'll get a different result if you change your answer. Su Yun couldn't help but be impressed. Chiu Heng's eloquence was amazing, and his psychology was also on point. He could easily hit the weakest spot in a person's heart. It was really difficult to deal with such a person. No need. Since I've chosen an answer, it means that this answer is the right one for me. Su Yun declined tactfully. Since I think it's the right one, there's no need to change it. Chiu Hung smiled slightly. Could this be considered a match? Su Yun was really someone who wasn't easy to convince. Chiu Hung knew this very well. It seemed that he still needed to increase his bargaining chip to truly move Su Yun. Chapter 1625. Although I don't know what your relationship with Principal Gu is, and I don't know what other help Principal Gu has given you apart from this mahogany medallion, Chiu Hang didn't give up. Chiu Hang was still not ready to give up. But I believe that I can give you the help that he can't. Give me a chance to prove it to you. This request isn't too much, is it? Of course not. This isn't Captain Chiu's request. You think highly of me, Su Yun, and I, Su Yun, fail to appreciate your kindness. Su Yun, I have nothing to do with Principal Gu. The only help he can give me is this mahogany medallion and this ship. Principal Gu thinks highly of me, and I don't deserve it. At this time, Su Yun had already understood that Yi Yuan's actions were definitely not just because of Bufifan, but also because of something else. Therefore, he was certain that Yi Yuan was willing to help him so much because of Principal Gu's intentions. This made Su Yun feel a little guilty. His words were definitely not against his heart, nor were they out of politeness. Chiu Hang said, "This is what Principal Gu can give you. This is his kindness. It's true that I can't give you the mahogany medallion. It's the best pass in this sea region. Any citizen who sees this medallion will treat you with the utmost respect and treat you with the best hospitality they can give you. I can't compare to Principal Gu in this regard. Captain Chiu, none of you have the obligation to help me." Su Yun said, "Although this is the first time I've met you, there's one thing I'm sure of. You're also a man of character. You're a particular person. Compared to the other pirate leaders I've met, you're far above them. I don't mind saying this from the bottom of my heart. I, Su Yun, won't stay in this place, so you really don't have to waste your time on me. I know your intentions, Captain Chiu. If you're really the right person for me, then let me go." "Mr. Su Yun, you've misunderstood. I won't stop anyone or force anyone. In the Bai Jing clan, everyone stays willingly," Chiu Heng said. Chiu Heng said, "You can ask Mo Tai. Even if I chase him away now, he won't leave. He stayed because he loves this place." Su Yun nodded. "I believe you. But I'm not fit to stay here." Chiu Hang did not continue arguing with Su Yun about this topic. "Let's not talk about this for now. I'm a person who likes to befriend heroes from all over the world. I think you're a hero, so I want to befriend you. We're just friends. I won't force you to do anything for me. I just want to help you." Su Yun and Lin Gu were a little surprised. Chiu Heng's words were out of their expectations. Logically speaking, he should have a request, and a very firm one at that. He definitely wouldn't be so easy to talk to. "So Captain Chiu means that you won't stop me if I want to leave now?" Su Yun asked in disbelief. Cho Heng nodded. Of course not. Mo Tai stopped you earlier because he didn't understand what I was thinking. I'm just here to tell you that if you're willing to be friends with me, I can give you help that Principal Gu can't. After pausing for a moment, while Su Yun and Lin Gu were pondering the meaning of this sentence, Cho Hang continued speaking. Principal Gu can give you a mahogany token and prepare a cruise ship for you, Cho Heng said. But he can't put down everything in his hands to help you find the person you're looking for and help you find the island you're looking for. But I can. I can do anything for my brother. As long as you trust me and are willing to be friends with me, I can arrange for all my men to help you find the person you're looking for and help you find the place you're looking for. After saying that, Cho Hang gestured for him to leave. Mr. Su Yun, I've already been very straightforward with my words. I believe you've already felt my sincerity. If you don't like my status, then go ahead and pretend that I've never been here. In the future, I can't guarantee that no one will provoke you in these waters, but I can guarantee that my men and the pirate groups that I can control won't dare to harass you. This boldness, this aura, it was really sufficient. Captain Chiu, what I'm doing is meaningless to you, Su Yun said. It can only be considered that I, Su Yun, am lucky to have a benefactor in my life. I, Cho Hang, am satisfied that you, Su Yun, regard me as a benefactor in your life, Cho Heng said. After saying that, Cho Hang stopped persuading and inviting him. Mr. Su Yun, please go ahead and pretend that nothing happened. I don't want my appearance to disturb your voyage. Su Yun cupped his fists and thanked Cho Hang. Then, he strode away and steered the ship away with Lin Gu. Watching the small yacht leave, Mo Tai was really confused. Captain, you're letting them go just like that? If he doesn't want to join us and you don't want to make things difficult for him, then there's no need to make those promises to him. We don't owe each other anything. There's no need to help him. There's no need, Cho Hang said calmly. Then, do you really feel that you appreciate each other? Mo Tai said, Captain, if that's what you think, then I can only say that you're too loyal. Cho Hang sighed. I'm loyal, but I won't be loyal to someone who doesn't want to give me face. I don't know Su Yun well enough, and Su Yun doesn't know me well enough. I believe that time will allow us to slowly understand each other. I won't force him to stay. I mean what I say, just like how you were willing to stay by my side back then. I didn't force anyone to stay. A forced melon is not sweet, and a forced person is not loyal. I'm very clear about this. But you can't let him go so easily, right? Mo Tai said. Hua Xia had a famous novel called The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. In it, there was a person called Ma Su who was highly regarded by the Shu Prime Minister, Zhuge Liang. Of course, in the end, it was the person who gave the order to kill him. Cho Hang said, this person once proposed a strategy. It's better to attack the heart than to attack the city. Fighting the heart is better than fighting the army. Sometimes, it's important to attack the heart. Mo Tai seemed to understand something. So you're saying that you want to use a psychological strategy on Su Yun? You can say that. Cho Hang still used the Three Kingdoms analogy. Zhuge Liang used Ma Su's psychological strategy to capture Meng Hua 7 times. He captured a person 7 times and let him go. In the end, he convinced him and willingly stayed by his side to assist him. Although I will not capture Su Yun, but if I help him again and again, then perhaps he will be like Meng Hua during the Three Kingdoms period, and willingly stay by my side, Zhuge Liang. Captain, you're thinking too much, Mo Tai said in admiration. Cho Heng smiled. This isn't what I think. This is the crystallization of the wisdom of Hua Xia's ancestors. I'm just using it. You should learn more about the principle of loosening the reins only to grasp them better. Perhaps you'll be able to add more fierce generals to our Bai Jing clan in the future. I'll follow your teachings, Captain. Mo Tai nodded. Cho Hang took one last look at the yacht that was about to disappear from sight. He said calmly, continue to keep an eye on them. Don't let anything happen to them. He would help them settle all their troubles. Then, think of a way to let them know that it's not that they're free of trouble, but that it's because of the Bai Jing clan that they're free of trouble. Yes. Mo Tai understood Chiu Heng's intention. Also, find out more about the person they're looking for. Chiu Heng said, bring back anyone who fits any of the characteristics of the person they're looking for. Don't let them know that you're secretly helping them find the person. Understood, Captain. Mo Tai said seriously. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.